shit. I'm trying to get into this Wolfenstein, man. I'm just, I'm not feeling it too much.
Oh, you're not feeling into it?
It reminds me a little bit of a throat. It reminds. Oh, I didn't go to that part yet.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Anyway.
The game's fucking like.
Good. All right, so it's a shit down the throat. I thought they were going to do something with the babies.
I don't know. I have no room to talk about.
All right.
Wolfenstein 2 because I honestly haven't gotten past like literally. I literally just did like the first 2 opening acts, if anything. So
yeah, I heard it starts slow, which I think I'm in the part where it's starting to pick up.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are now live. We are episode 26 playing Xbox. People are coming in. I'm gonna give you guys a heads up right now. Heart 8 will not be arriving today. So he can't make it tonight. I think he's somewhere trying to put together his PC.
Nice.
I don't know, but as you all know, he sold his.
Wait. This man did not go out and get another PC.
Well, he sold his Xbox One X, and he wants to experience 4K 60 Ultra, and I guess he's going to shell out another $800 for a 1080 Ti. So who knows?
Wow.
Man, like people be hating on me here recently, man. What I do to you bitches?
You seen that comment too?
Yeah, I see the comment yesterday. It was like someone wants to debate me, and I was like, "Who the fuck is that?"
Yeah. Child for the $1 donation, Danielle Mina. But come on, I mean, rocks with me, guys. It's playing Xbox for episode 26. Heart 8 will be back. I think next week. I think he owes me like 2 more episodes or so.
Hold that timeout, fam.
You put somebody in timeout?
Yeah, that's the first time I'm putting you in a timeout in a minute. And I am warning you, if you come back in here talking some shit like that, I will block you.
All right, so what's good, everybody? I'm gonna try to have a functional show today. We're gonna try to talk about things a lot of you guys want to talk about. It's been a great week. I'm feeling good. I hope you guys are feeling good. I dropped another, YouTube sensational hit. Since
I feel like we need to talk about that a little bit.
What, Halo Gears and Forza?
No. We got to talk about the drunk episode, not the Halo Gears. I mean, we can talk about them both because it's like you played.
The memes have been flowing. I have seen them.
Like, how does it feel? It's new to be the only person that I know that can make one video and have like 8 memes, 4 gifs come out from one video.
Some of that crap is funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you see the people that were putting other music behind?
Yes, the
Persona 5. That was my favorite one.
What about the Switch one? I thought that was hilarious. Like,
I haven't seen that one yet.
There's a Switch Gang rap.
Oh yeah, the fucking Kofi song, this bottle to the head or some shit like that. Yeah, I mean, I was contemplating whether taking the video down. My girl watched it, her mom watched it. I'm hoping my mom didn't watch it. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's.
Hold up. Your mother-in-law watched it?
Yeah.
He Chromecast that shit on his TV. It's like, watch this.
Dude, no, I don't share stuff like that with my family for anybody to purposely see.
Let's be real here.
You know when you're starting a YouTube channel, right? And you need like subscribers, so you have like your friends and family follow you first before you get like a follow. So that's what happened, So it's just lingering people from like that. I was like, oh, I didn't expect you to actually watch it. You were just supposed to subscribe to support. You ain't gotta watch. So but yeah. Did y'all download the episode? What episode you guys talking about?
What are we talking about right now? I just got to make sure.
No, it's just like, but no, to all those people, Best Buy Theory, there will be no deletion of any Best Buy Theory. I named yesterday's stream Best Buy Theory because it was supposed to be a Best Buy Theory. I just never got to it. And so it's going to be there. I mean, ain't no shame in anything I do will remain up, and hopefully guys will enjoy it.
I think you need to stream more drunk, man, because you were saying
become an alcoholic.
You were saying some dumb shit that probably no one should ever say, but it was entertaining.
Yeah,
I don't think I said anything controversial.
No, I'm not talking about that.
You did say something about you know, somebody looking kind of sexy, and I was like, wait, did he just say that?
I didn't say anybody looked sexy. I said if Jack Move Johnny was a female. No. I said Jack Move Johnny was a female. He would look attractive for a female. As a male, probably not. It's like he has a face that would probably go better on probably a girl's like figure. Like
I don't know.
Nobody was.
Hold on. I want to get the chat involved in this little segment. Anyone in the chat who think Kid Smooth got a big ass L, put that in the chat.
Let me catch an L from that.
I feel like you gotta hold an L for that stream.
I didn't catch it. I didn't catch an L from that. You know why I didn't catch an L from that?
Why didn't you catch an L from that?
Because
it was funny.
Blame it on the alcohol.
I didn't catch an L from that because at the end of the day, you know, everybody's watching and everybody's talking about it. So at the end of the day, you know,
those L's.
That's not an L. That is not an L to me. I'm happy.
So you prefer them to put loafs, sir? Is that correct? Like, look, there's you.
I don't take loafs. I'm low. I'm L proof. I don't take loafs.
If there's anything you can't say, it's you don't take loafs. Okay, you cannot say that because you have lost mad money from taking loafs. All
right, so I took traditional losses. I will take that, but I don't take L's. I take traditional losses, but I don't take L's. I refuse to take L's. Man. I'm immune. I don't feel them. I don't acknowledge them.
The L's are still going.
I don't know, man. It was pretty entertaining. I tell you that. It was entertaining.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad it was entertaining. But that's not something I would like do every day. Because like I said, it wasn't like, oh, let me get dressed. Like I came home, I had the house to myself for like a nice hour. I was like, oh crap, I got time to do a best spot theory, you know? But I was, like I said, I was under the influence. I couldn't drive home. I had to go home. My car was still at work. But I mean, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm saying. So it wasn't like I wasn't like, oh my God, what did I say? It's like I know what I was saying or anything like that. It's just that I was in a good mood. So
you just felt free. That's all.
Yeah.
No, you were super happy. You were good. I listened to the whole thing. It's just when you was talking about Jack Move, I was like, wait, what is he trying to get
Jack Move thing was like, like 40 seconds long. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was just weird because it was like the way you brought it. I was like, wait a minute. I'm with you. But what?
I have a request, kid.
Yeah,
I want you to watch the PSN drunk. I want you to watch PSX drunk.
What PSX?
Because I feel like you're gonna say some dumb shit if they start announcing fire shit. You gotta do it. I don't know what would be better, him watching the rewards drunk or PXX.
The awards.
I'm not doing anything drunk. That's promoting alcohol abuse.
That is not promoting.
That's promoting alcohol abuse. It's like
it's not like you drinking on cam. Like you've already come on cam already fucked up. The drinking's already done.
Yeah, you did come on camera sloshing slithered.
Yeah, but the thing is, I was already but I didn't come on the camera like, hey, I'm gonna just get drunk. I'm gonna purposely get drunk. I was already my drinking was already done. It was just like now I was like, oh well, I'm bored now. I'm home. You know what I mean? So I couldn't do anything else productive. Why not do a best spot theory?
You should have took a nap, man.
Yeah, but if I would have took a nap, I would have woke up with a headache, and then I would have been pissed off that I would have woke up like mad late, and then I didn't use any of the prime hours to do anything. I was like, wow, all the stuff I could have done, but I went to sleep.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I hate going to sleep in the middle of at 6 o'clock and then waking up at like 12 o'clock. And I'm like, well, what the hell am I gonna do now? Like, nah, especially I got to work the next day. Nah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I felt a certain way when you start talking about people commenting on certain aspects of your body, and you was like, and you almost answered that, man.
Yeah, that's why I turned it off, man.
Close.
Yeah. Oh, it was like unbuttoning his shirt. Yeah, you unbuttoned his shirt. I'm like, get the fuck. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
What happened was no. I remember what was that. At that point, I really forgot what I was actually
it was
doing.
I
was like, oh no, I don't talk about.
I heard that. That's why I got off. Yeah.
So no, it didn't go any further than that. I didn't actually answer the question.
I backed that video.
Yeah, he started doing like those daggone PlayStation Network them live streams. Started doing crazy.
Yo, it's hilarious. When I was watching that, I was like, "Oh shit, that's what this is turning into."
Yeah.
Yo, where's that PSI camera?
Yeah, no, it'll be none of that here.
Robots run
I know I know what I'm doing for the most part. So let's get on to the thing. So the award shows us tomorrow, right?
Is it tomorrow or Friday? I thought it was Friday.
I think it's
Tomorrow's the 7th.
No,
Yeah,
tomorrow night.
Okay, it's
Right,
tomorrow
guys-
night. Okay.
You guys ready? You guys ready? You know, to see
when does
all
it
the
come
hardworking games get shit done. Like, you guys ready? Who's ready for the award
When
show?
does it come on?
Hey. Huh?
When does it come on?
Somewhere between
8
like 8 and 9, I think.
8:30. He already announced the pre-show.
I
and he
think
said there's going to be a VR game on it. The guys that make Job Simulator.
I would really like to stream that, like a reaction stream. Like I would really like that. Would you guys be down to do something like that, like a Planet Xbox special?
Yes, I just don't want to get flagged. I mean, like,
Kaylee will flag you.
you know what I mean? I don't know, man. Like,
No, I mean, at the end of the day, if you get flagged, then just don't monetize it. I mean, it sucks, but you know, it's
if you guys want me to do a reaction stream, you're gonna have to like hit that super chat up. Honestly,
that's
we
gotta fund it some way.
Like,
what would be an acceptable? Okay, if it was a like ratio, what would be an acceptable likes ratio to make you do it?
What do you mean?
Like people liking the video or a super chat donation. What would be an acceptable amount that would make you do it? Now, why are we even letting you? Just do this shit. Like, come on.
Here's the thing is, because if I do it, I don't want. There's two things that can happen, right? I don't know how strict the copyrights are on it. It's one thing to not monetize it. All right, cool. But is it strong? Is it a strong enough offense to take the video down? And then that'll be a waste of fucking time. So that's the only thing. Like, I have to do so much to like make sure, like, because sometimes you're gonna just sit there and watch and just see what's going on. But I feel like I'm gonna have to talk over everything. I'm gonna have to interfere the images just so I don't get the video striked. You know.
I mean, I see people reacting to it all the time, and I don't see them getting.
I mean, we can do it. I mean, I really don't mind. But we're gonna have to use Skype though, just to give you a heads up, because I don't have the dual monitor set up. So,
I mean, that's fine.
Do like my man that was watching the UFC fight the other night and have a controller and act like he playing it.
Oh, that shit! Yeah, that was funny, dog. Oh my god!
Oh, that was hilarious.
I'm like, yo, like, why did I think of that? Oh man, yo. For those asking,
I like
Hard
the control.
Hard 8 is not here today. You know, he's not here today. He's called out sick. Now, I think he's sick in the head because he sold his Xbox One X to only find out the 1080 Ti costs more. It does this month than it did a few months ago. So, let's get on. All right, so I want to talk about some predictions. A couple things that we're going to talk about. I don't care about all the other words. I just want to know of all the nominations of the Game of the Year nominations. Like, you got Horizon Zero Dawn, you got Persona 5, you got PUBG, you got Zelda and Mario Odyssey. Who's winning Game of the Year?
Nintendo.
It's either going to be Mario or Zelda, one of the two.
No, pick one. I want you to pick
Zelda.
Zelda.
I'm personally going to say Mario, but that's what I voted for. I'm hoping it's Mario. I love Zelda, but I think it should be Mario. But it just brought me back to my N64 days playing that game.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
but Zelda. They changed Zelda a lot. And
Zelda is amazing. Don't get me wrong. Zelda is still amazing, but I really would like to see either game. To me, I'll be fine with. As long if PUBG wins, I think I'll be irritated because I don't believe that game should.
You would honestly be irritated.
Well, the reason I'll be irritated is. Well, here's the thing. The reason I'd be irritated is because that game is still early access. Like, it's not done. Like, I don't understand why it's even being nominated really in any category when it's not a finished product. Like, it's still they just put a button where you can like hurdle over stuff. Now, so I'm just like, I don't understand why that game is in there. I know some people just wanted to win, just basically trolling people. I just don't see why that game is even in the nomination for anything.
Look,
it's just a bad precedent.
It should be in its own category to me.
I will agree with you. I don't think the game deserves to be there, but if it won, I'm not going to bitch because there has to me, I feel like Game of the Year pretty much signifies like the game that did the most that year in the industry, not necessarily what game was the best. That's why, like, Overwatch won. It is a popularity contest because the game sold how many millions this year?
Oh, it sold a lot.
I mean, there's not been one game that came out this year that had the significance of that game. There just hasn't. I mean, you can argue Zelda. Zelda had a lot of people looking at it, but like we're talking from, I'm talking mainly from a console perspective. I don't really see the huge backlash that PUBG has, but I'm sure if I was on PC, everywhere you go, people playing PUBG. All your friends are playing PUBG, and I mean, we're gonna have to see what it does this month on the X. When does it come out this month?
The 12th.
The 12th, yeah.
So
next week.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Like when I first saw it, it was a confusing game to me. I didn't understand what it was about. Then the more I started watching people stream, I was like, it didn't have appeal to me. And then when I played the Fortnite, I guess you could say clone, I was like, well, maybe PUBG would be interesting. I think my first impression, it reminded me of graphically like 7 Days to Die. It just looked like a horrible game. I was like, this game looks horrible. Like, why are people playing this? But I'm gonna give it a chance, but I just don't think, to me, like I said, I think it needs its own category, best early access game or whatever.
Casey said PUBG is a fad. A fad has been a fad for what, 8 months now? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would agree that it's a fad.
If the game is selling like it is, I haven't heard too many people that's actually played the game say it sucks.
Right.
I see people playing it that says that it's not for them. They don't like camping sensations, and that game kind of promotes camping, but at the same time, it doesn't because it changes.
Yeah, because the idea of the game is to survive to the end.
It's basically exactly like Fortnite's game, right?
It's just a hardcore version.
Yeah, but there's vehicles and stuff in it, and there's.
See, that will be actually cool.
Fortnite's going. It's going to give you.
Fortnite's,
Fortnite fucking robbed PUBG's thing.
I wouldn't be surprised to see more games do it.
Yeah. Well, Ghost Recon, I think they're trying to plan to put it in Ghost Recon. They'll tease in it.
But Attic, who's winning game of the year?
I'm gonna have to say PUBG. Like,
PUBG that's gonna win.
For the people that follow IOP, shout out to Iron Lords Podcast. We went into detail who won. Like I said multiple times in that podcast, I'm looking to win. Like, I'm looking to win the predictions. And as much as I'd like Zelda to win, as much as I would thrive to see Zelda to win, the industry is going to give it to PUBG.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
I just want to see PUBG win because I just want to see all the YouTube reaction videos to see how many people cry about it.
Zelda, man.
Well, see, I get that, but
if there was no Mario or Zelda, I would say PUBG has a good chance of winning. But the fact that Nintendo's two of them in there, I can't see Zelda not winning.
So, GMG, your pick is Zelda?
Yeah, I think Zelda. Even though Horizon was incredible and Mario's incredible, and I do think that those are definitely worthy contenders. But I agree, PUBG, I really don't think should be in the category. They should have their own sort of like game with they have a support category that says like game that has longest support, or a new category, or game in early development or something like that, like a preview game. They should do something like that, like most anticipated. Things like that. I don't think they should have it as because if it wins this year, and what happens next year when it's released? If it comes out next year,
I think if it wins this year, they're not going to nominate it again next year. I don't think I've ever seen a scenario where a game gets nominated twice.
But, at the end of the day,
they're earning it. I don't know.
It's okay for
the game. Even though people want to be like, "Oh, it's not." The people their number one excuse is that it's not finished. Just because it's not finished doesn't mean it's not a game.
You still pay for it.
You still pay for it.
I just think it's just a bad precedent, though. If a game that's
but the game is in preview, it's a preview program.
Cycle,
one mode.
Who wins the game of the year? Cycle.
I say
best beta.
Zelda. I think.
Well, you voted PUBG, didn't you?
Just because I voted doesn't mean I think it's the only one. I just voted just to piss people off.
I think Zelda is going to win it, but I voted Mario.
I think Zelda is going to win.
I think Mario has no
ask yourself this: is Zelda better than Mario?
Hell yeah.
I think at the end of the day, Mario and Horizon have no chance. It's going to be PUBG or Zelda.
Yeah, I can kind of see where you're going with that. Yeah, Zelda to me is
Those are the only two games.
The mechanisms that they put in Zelda is
Zelda
different than
Zelda. I'm still playing Zelda. That game is still amazing.
And let's
These
be
two
frank about
games-
this: the industry has a soft spot for Nintendo too.
These-
Even though it's a good game,
That's why I
it's a
said
good
it's
game.
True.
These
them
two
being in the
games,
contendership,
these
definitely.
these two games are the only things this year that really got people going. Like,
But
you
PUBG
see,
sold more than all those games on that list combined.
Yeah, PUBG sold.
I mean, I'm just saying.
well, then you gotta look from different perspectives. All these games came out there at $60 retail. PUBG wasn't. It's easier to sell $30 multiplayer games than single player experiences.
But there again, and this is what I also think about is PUBG, because PUBG's coming to what, Xbox, and I guess maybe it'll come to PlayStation later. But is it gonna pull numbers on the Xbox like it is PC? That's what I always think. Like, because PC and console, they're two different. Like console people, they're different than PC people. Like PC people get a game, they won't stick with it.
PUBG
But when they
is not selling 20 million on the Xbox. I'm sorry.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it'll do okay, but
if you can give a price month, what do you think the first month? What do you think by the end of December that it will do?
What, on Xbox?
That PUBG would do on Xbox.
I have no idea because I don't know if they're going to release the numbers for the preview on Xbox.
I mean,
remember, you can download a 30-minute free trial with I mean, if I had to guess, I think the first month, I think it'll do. Let's see if any of all that hype over the summer carries over to the Xbox crowd. I think it could do in a month. I think it could do 1 million.
I think it can do anywhere from 1 to 1.5.
Right, I agree. I totally agree.
Just depending. Now, if the game is shit and it comes out broken,
that's
that's the problem.
75 to 1 mil.
Yeah,
but
like a 500,000.
Because you can tell gamers all they want that shit's broken. There's still a bunch of dumbass people that'll go out and buy it anyway.
Yeah, if that thing's not playable online for like a day or two, like
if the game comes out flawless, and we know this is probably not going to happen, but the game comes out with little to no issues, just a little bit of server issues, but nothing severe, I can see it doing numbers because it's gonna be a wildfire. It's gonna spread throughout Xbox Live. But if the game, I mean, look at Art spread like that because when you have games,
that game was broken. Oh my gosh!
I just looked. That game is like the 5th or 6th most played game on Xbox.
Right, but that game was broken. Like it was trash when it came out.
People were still buying it by the truckload.
Shoot, same with Friday the 13th. That game was broken. That game was trash when it came out.
I bought that.
And when it first came out, that game did not work, but people were buying it. So I guess you're right. It's what the industry says. I mean, PUBG could come out, and if it's broken on Xbox and they fix it fast enough, it could do. I was gonna say by the end of the month, because of just the name itself, I could see it pulling be anywhere between 1 to 2 mil. I could see that because Microsoft, if we really think about it, this holiday where they had Forza and Lucky Tail, so really at the end of the year, I can see PUBG pulling some numbers from everybody who wants to, who has an Xbox X, wants to try it out, and a lot of people who did the Black Friday sale for $189. I could see that. I could really see that.
There's a lot of hardcore gamers that their friends will tell them this game runs like shit, it doesn't work, and people like, I'm gonna buy it and see if it happens with me. Maybe it won't be the same with me. Maybe I'll be the exception, and then it just doesn't work, and then they're just bitching, calling to get a refund.
That never works.
I hear it's buggy on PC. I hear it's still not optimized.
Here's another question: do you guys think it might run better on Xbox than it does on PC? Maybe Xbox is. I'm really starting to think that this game might run better on console.
I would say,
it's looking like Microsoft is actually putting a budget to making sure this happens.
Yeah,
and I think them doing on the 30 frames per second, I think really is just making sure that this thing runs smooth, and they don't want this thing like judder all over the place and things like that. They want it smooth from launch. I think. Yeah, I think it. I think it probably will definitely be optimized for it. Microsoft's going to ensure that, but we'll see. It's a preview though, man. They have that scapegoat of a preview program. That's why I'm kind of a little iffy about it, because that preview, like you said, Ark was busted, and this, and even like another game. What was it? The Happy Few. How it came out, and it was like a not even what the trailer was like. It was broke. That was broken too. I thought that game. I remember playing the trial of it. Oh, and that's the other thing I think is gonna help people. Like, doesn't all the preview things have a trial?
I think so.
Yeah, all
I believe Arc did when it came out.
Yeah, I think they all do. Like I'm not sure. Yeah, so if PUBG has a trial, that's going to help a lot too. It's also going to flood the servers though, a lot more than should. But that preview will help. The trial.
So what's the next award?
No, that's the only one to focus on the main one. I don't really care about the whole subtitle ones. We could watch that during awards. Nothing that I'm really anticipating to like.
Really, you don't want to talk about Cuphead? You don't think Cuphead's gonna win anything?
Yeah, it'll win the awards that it's nominated for, but I don't think the other subcategories to me aren't really important.
Right, and I guess go to NPD.
Yeah, like okay.
Want to talk about anything good?
What about the reveals though? Like he's supposed to.
Yeah,
like
that's in today's show.
Gotcha.
As far as the award show, I didn't really have a breakdown of predictions of because I don't even know. I passed like 4 nomination categories. I really don't know what the fuck else is. Like a category.
I guess because I'm just thinking about because Cuphead, Microsoft didn't have really many games other than Forza and Cuphead. And Cuphead,
no,
I think
Forza, Cuphead, and Halo Wars 2 all took.
Oh, I'm sorry. Halo Wars 2. I forgot about that. But Cuphead to me is being nominated in the best action category, and I'm like, Cuphead is a good game, but yeah, I don't feel it deserves that.
I think Cuphead has 3 nominations. Why doesn't it deserve it? It's an action game.
Like, no, what I'm saying, as far as that category, like to me, Neo is like one of the best action games that came out this year. Out of that category of games, like they put some really, to me, I think that category is kind of swayed towards 2 games because you got to look at the games they put in there. They put Prey, Neo, Destiny, Cuphead, and Wolfenstein. I'm like, the best action category for combat, from focus on combat. If you just, that's what it says, the best action game, focus on combat, to me is Neo. Like Neil had, to me, as far as an action game this year, in that nominated category, Destiny, no, it doesn't even belong
Destiny,
there.
I don't even think Destiny's an action game.
Destiny got nominated for a lot of things too.
But you know, that's just that, like you said, that's the industry talking. That I mean, shoot, Call of Duty's in there, and I'm like, I own both Destiny and Call of Duty, and I'm like, why are you nominated in this category? You don't belong here. But I think Cuphead is going to win. I don't think it's going to win in that category. I think Cuphead is going to win. I think it's art design.
Art design, yeah.
Like if it doesn't win that, I will be very surprised.
It's going to win best art design. It's going to win best indie.
People are honestly saying that Persona is going to win art design.
No, Persona is going to get RPG. Persona is definitely.
I don't even know about that.
Really? You don't?
What was a better RPG this year?
Everybody's saying Divinity. What is that? Original Sin 2. I think that's one of the other games in that category.
Persona 5 is nominated. It wasn't Persona 5 nominated for Game of the Year too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree. Like, look. To be completely honest with you, if Zelda didn't come out this year, I would say Persona would take it over PUBG. But Zelda's. I haven't played Persona.
Persona's freaking amazing.
Yeah, but Zelda. It just seems like it had more hype behind it. But Persona, there was a lot of talk behind that game. There was no denying that.
Yes.
Did you notice that like this year is a bunch of exclusives for Game of the Year?
Yeah. A lot of them.
That's kind of weird. Usually exclusives don't win Game of the Year. It's very rare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is Assassin's Creed in any of the categories?
It's in best. I think it got nominated a couple times. Trying to look for the.
I was mad because Shadow of War wasn't.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. But I think that whole loot box stuff, that's what hurt that game.
I felt like Shadow of War had Game of the Year potential, but a lot of people didn't even try because of the loot box.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree. I was thinking about Cuphead. Like when I seen Cuphead, I said Cuphead to me, the one thing I would want it to win is out of everything is the art design. I think it's in music category too, but Persona has an amazing soundtrack, and I think that's in there too. And then Nier is in there too, as far as like the soundtrack, and that has a good soundtrack. They for the most part, I think they did a good job with all of the games in their categories. For the most part, there are just some categories I was like. They put games in. I was like, why did you even put this here? Like Prey.
Yeah.
Like Prey. I was like, why is Prey even there? I was like,
why is Prey nominated for anything?
Exactly.
Like, all right, so for example, somebody mentioned Assassin's Creed. Like, it was nominated. Guess what? It's nominated with Uncharted Lost Legacy, Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, and Horizon Zero Dawn. They're probably gonna give for best action adventure game.
Oh yeah, it's not even get
And I enjoyed Assassin's Creed Origins just as much, if not more, than I enjoyed Horizon Zero Dawn. Those are my two favorite games this year.
Enjoyed Assassin's Creed. I'm playing it right now, and I'm
frustrated.
I'm frustrated with all the side quests, man. Like
the grinding, man. The grinding.
Like, usually, like in games like that, like side quests are an option, not something that's like this. This shit is basically mandatory in this game. Like,
well, it's only mandatory because
you got to build your level up.
You need to be
exactly so
prepared for the next.
Exactly.
And then some of the side quests are higher, require a higher level than the damn final boss.
And that should just throw me off, man. Like I'm just used to if I feel like doing a side quest or getting some extra shit, and cool.
That's what I'm doing now. I did enough just to get up to beat the game, but now I went back to it just to do like, now let me try to see how much achievements I can get, how much more experience points I can get, if I get any more legendaries, even though I own a shit ton of legendaries in that game. I just had a great time with the game. Like,
let me ask a quick question, because like I just started playing it, so I know, and I hate to make this comparison because a lot of people hate this game. I saw BG's rant on it, and it was just funny. The side quests, like I feel like, and I always say this, like I think The Witcher 3 did the side quests well because it really was relevant to the story of what was going on. Is it like that, or is like does it not pertain to the story?
No, they find it works. The side quest works. It's just after a while, it's just really tedious. It's a lot of fetch, a lot of like do this. Find this person. It's a lot of the same thing, just different characters. And Assassin's Creed Origins have a lot of copy and paste like characters. Like
go collect X amount of feathers and go collect these musical. Okay,
They have a lot of the like. Okay, I've been here, done that type shit.
Right.
Yeah, but also too, I think the other thing is that the enemies are actually leveled up, so you have to actually get to the level to even being competitive against those enemies.
Yeah,
they're forcing.
When I first started the game, I went into an area that I wasn't supposed to be on,
and you got Tora.
I got not to get Tora. I got killed by hyena. Like hyenas, like they were just like I couldn't do shit to them, and I was like, all right then.
Yeah,
but crazy, after a while, once I got to understand what the game was trying to do, I was like, all right, I can do this, and I just really enjoyed it. I thought the story was okay. I thought the story was good. The experience itself I thought was fun. I liked there was a lot of things that I liked about the game. I do have my gripes with it, but usually if I'm playing a game this long and I'm bound to find things I don't like about the game, it doesn't deter me from like, oh man, this game was horrible. I didn't think the game was horrible at all. I thought it was great, you know?
Okay. Well, let me ask the question, because since we're talking about, I mean, we're this is an Xbox podcast, is because I know what I said. What is it? Forza, I think got nominated, and it's in like best sports / racing. I've always hated that category because I'm like, you put sports / racing. I understand why they do it, but I kind of feel like there were enough racing games to come out this year. It should have had its own category. Like racing should have had its own category, because I mean, too many racing games came out this year. Like you had Need for Speed, you had Project Cars 2, you had GT Sport, you had Forza, and then probably some I'm forgetting. And I'm just like, why don't they ever give it its own category? They always put, because you know that when you put it in there with sports / racing,
because every year racers don't release as often as it did like this year, you know. Like some years you could get like literally only 1 or 2 racing games.
Well, then you make that adjustment.
Yeah, because I'm like, shoot, like we know 2K is gonna freaking win that category.
2K is not winning. When's the last time 2K won this category?
I don't know. When they say best, it's like if it's based on the industry, just how the industry feels.
Last year, Rocket League won this category.
Yeah, it was both.
Yeah, that's right, it did. But I just feel like 2K is going to end up walking away. Either 2K or FIFA is going to walk away with that.
2K or FIFA is walking away with this. I think Forza is going to win. Or I think Forza is going to win. I don't think GT Sport might have a shot, but I mean it wasn't that high on Metacritic. I mean Project Cars 2. I think
no Project Cars.
Project Cars. That's not.
2K18 was NBA's worst 2K in years. If you think, so I don't think it has a shot at winning this. I give it to Forza.
I mean, I would like to see Forza win it because I believe it deserves that category.
Out of Forza 7 or Pro Evolution. That's who I think gets it.
Pro Evolution is a good game, but I'm just like,
Pro Evolution, no way.
Like I agree with Cycle. Like they should take the categories and say, look, this X amount of races. We still got racing games. I think isn't the Crew 2 coming out this year still? So we still have
no,
to get
that's
delayed.
in
Okay, got
February.
delayed. So my whole thing is like we had enough races to come out this year where it could have had its own category, and they could have said, okay, let's put it over here and judge it on its own merits, and then take the sports games because they don't have Madden in this category, which I'm kind of like, okay, Madden is Madden. And most sports games to me are like the same every year in a sense. There's slight tweaks here and there, but it's just kind of like I kind of feel like it should have had the racing games themselves should have been in all their own category to the side. Because if like you said, if Rocket League can win it, then they they could probably put Mario Kart for the Switch in the racing category and they might win it. You see what I'm saying? Which kind of it doesn't make sense, but I can see some of these awards. I'm like, some of these games don't belong in some of these categories to me. Like they just don't belong there. They're not in the right place.
Yeah. And I think GT Sport's not going to win because of that. The single player is not out yet, and things like that. And I think Forza is a more complete game.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Like in best multiplayer game last year, didn't the best multiplayer game go to Splatoon?
Yes, it did.
And this year, Splatoon 2 is nominated. You got you got Fortnite, which is going to get a push because of the stupid ass PUBG mode. You got Call of Duty World War II. I don't think it's winning. Splatoon may win. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe may win, even though it's just a fucking re-release.
It's a re-release. Yeah.
Destiny 2 ain't winning. PUBG probably should and probably will win it. But
it's either going to be PUBG or Fortnite. I
think PUBG will win best multiplayer, but not win Game of the Year.
Yeah, exactly. It'll win something. It'll win something.
I don't know why the most anticipated game award exists. I hate this fucking category. This is where all the fanboys come out.
Most anticipated game award.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I saw
a bunch of fucking like, and then the thing about the most anticipated game, because these same games can be nominated again next year, with the exception of God of War, because I know that's coming out in March, and Spider-Man. But weren't some of these games nominated last year?
Last of Us 2 was the list.
I don't think The Last of Us 2 was nominated.
I think The Last of Us 2 was.
PSX, yeah. No.
I just don't think that I agree with you. Like, but we know why it's the most because it's sponsored by McCafe, so McDonald's doing all that great. So the thing about that category to me, and I've noticed, is like The Last of Us 2 to me shouldn't be there because I don't think it's coming out next year. But I understand why they put it there. But I personally voted for The Last of Us 2, but I think that Red Dead's gonna take everything in that category, no matter what, because it's a bigger title as far as like it's being known. It's multi-plat. I think that's the matter of fact, that and Monster Hunter are the only two multi-plat. Everything else is Sony's,
Yeah.
So
last year's most anticipated games was God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn,
again?
Mass Effect Andromeda, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Legend of Zelda.
Wow.
For the what category?
Most anticipated last year.
What won last year?
I think it was Zelda. Hold on. Let me see. I just did the nominees.
So if it was Zelda last year, Red Dead would probably win it this year.
But the fact that God of War has been nominated twice, and what else was nominated twice? Red Dead Redemption 2?
Legend of Zelda 1. And Legend of Zelda 1 last year, and Red Dead Redemption 2 was most anticipated.
Wow.
And Mass Effect. Oh, man.
Yeah,
for those people.
Turned out.
Yeah, I played Mass Effect. I went through that whole game. Oh, man.
And Overwatch won best multiplayer last year. And look, Rainbow Siege was on there. Don't you think that should be renominated? But I think they're going to
Rainbow Siege is on there in this year's nomination.
Most supported game or something like that.
I think it's the best continuing online.
Support.
Right.
Which that's great. I think it's probably going to win that because I think that model needs to work. I think that's good.
I think that game is really well supported, but I think Overwatch may take it again. Unfortunately,
no.
Overwatch is.
I think Siege has got that in the bag. Overwatch definitely, support. Blizzard definitely supports Overwatch, but I feel like just the story behind Siege, they're going to give it to Siege just from the story alone. Like, Siege was a dead game when it came out.
It was crap when it came out. That game was horrible.
It wasn't as bad as Lawbreakers, but it was going that direction.
Yes. Siege was a mess when it came out. Servers didn't work, and it was just a complete disaster. And they flipped that game around. I can see what you're saying about that. I can totally agree with that. I mean, I would like it to win. I don't have a problem with it winning, but Overwatch, I mean, it has some pretty strong competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they changed that game around. They've been adding actually functional characters to that game. Overwatch has been they haven't added as many as as Rainbow Six has. Rainbow Six has been, and then last year for fighting game, the Street Fighter won.
Yeah, fast they won by default. What else was nominated? Really?
Poke Tournament, King of Fighters, and Killer Instinct Season 3. Which where's our Season 4?
Wait. Are we talking about most anticipated game?
No, this is fighting of last year.
I was about to say
Street Fighter 4 won by default, and it wasn't even the best fighting game that that came
Who's
out
this year?
I totally agree.
2017. This I think Injustice is gonna win.
I think Injustice or either Tekken. It's one of those two. I don't think there's any other game on that list that's gonna. It's gonna be. I think Injustice is a more popular game. Tekken is a long-running series, but I personally think that you're right. Injustice is gonna win. Like when I look at what my kids are playing, my kids, like I said, I have kids different various ages, 14, 18, 17. They're playing what's hot and what their friends are playing. They're not playing Tekken. Guys like me are playing Tekken. They're playing Injustice and Mortal Kombat. They're not playing Tekken. To them, Tekken is like, oh.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that. I believe that the Injustice is going to win it.
But see, there's going to be some WTFs because last year best family game was Pokemon Go.
That blew my mind. That kind of blew my mind
on your phone. So there's definitely going to be some. There's gonna be some this year that are gonna be like, huh? And that was nominated with Ratchet and Clank, Skylanders, Dragon Quest Builders.
I can't understand how that one.
No offense to you guys, but we've been talking an hour on this. Can we move this along?
All right, let's move it along.
All right, so let's do NPD prediction. Who wins November? I'm gonna start with Grinds.
Start with me. I think it's going to be Nintendo, and then I think Nintendo's going to win NPDs for November.
Okay. Fair enough. Any explanation on why?
Well, they kept. I think the biggest question was whether Nintendo is going to have stock, and from what I've saw and what's still going on, they have plenty of stock in the stores, and I think that they they were winning NPDs leading into it, and I think it was one of the hot Christmas items. I know price was a big factor. I think it's going to be a toss up between the PlayStation and Nintendo, but I was pretty shocked that Nintendo won. I think Nintendo won Black Friday.
They won Black Friday, and they won last month's NPD.
Yeah, so I think that they're going to win the November NPDs. Continue that, but it's going to be pretty close. I do think. But they had the stock, and I think that was the big question if they were going to be out of stock.
Nintendo winning NPD is it's like the only platform that going NPD that PlayStation fans take as a win.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I mean, they treat that shit just as a win. It's like, all right, well, all right. So, Frog, who wins NPD?
I think it's gonna be. I don't know. I would personally say, from what I saw, I would say Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft. Just when I didn't go out much, but from what I was just looking on the internet and what was trending, it seemed like Sony, you couldn't find PS4s anywhere. I know that you could find Switches, so that wasn't a problem. They had the stock. So I will say,
it's not that you couldn't find PS4s. You couldn't find $199 PS4s.
I was how much. Well, I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why I say Sony is because GameStop had that deal. If you bought a PS4, you got a $50 gift, and no GameStop had a PS4. So GameStop is one of the biggest, game retailers. So I would honestly say I would think Sony would win it. Then it'd be Nintendo, then Microsoft. That's the only reason why, because of that $50 gift card you got with it.
GameStop is one retailer that was offering that though.
But GameStop's a big retailer.
Yeah, so is Amazon and Walmart.
But they pushed that. They pushed that hard.
If you were to put the top 10, well, no, that's too much. Top 5, the biggest retailers. Do you think
Amazon, Walmart?
Yeah,
oh yeah,
I'm just talking as far as the low end of that 5.
No, I'm just talking about as far as selling games. Now, Walmart, Walmart, Amazon, Best Buy, of course, but still, they were selling out their PlayStation.
Yeah, but their games department is doing better than GameStop.
Yeah. I would say, I'm just saying, as far as what I saw, I know GameStop was selling out of their PlayStations quick. I know Walmart was selling out of them. Best Buy, you couldn't find them. Now you could find a Pro, but you couldn't find a Slim because that $199 deal was just. So I would just say, to me personally, I think that really helped So I would say if anything if Sony wins it, it's because of GameStop pushing that incentive where here $50 back if you go buy this for $199. But I think it's going to be Sony, Nintendo, and then Microsoft.
But they had that $199 all week too, uncontested. You know, they didn't have it just on Black Friday. But I agree. Like on Black Friday,
I think that hurt them having it all week. If they would have had it like the last 2 days, like the day before Black Friday and then Black Friday, I think it would have been better. But having it that whole week, their stock was hurt before Black Friday even came around.
Well, there was the PlayStation or the Best Buy person was surprised that they had that huge turnout on Black Friday because they're like, people have been buying this all week. So yeah, it was a stock thing, but I do think that that's why I was surprised that Switch won Black Friday because all I heard was PlayStation.
Right, that's what I heard.
Weekend or the whole week. I didn't even hear anybody. And when I was in the store, I just saw people grabbing that PlayStation like candy. Like, dude, just grabbing it and harassing the PlayStation guy, going, "Where are these things?" Like, it looked like the scene from Jingle All the Way. You know, it's like, where are these things? So that's why I was surprised. That's why I'm saying Switch, because it is the whole month, and and the thing is that Microsoft, like, just to jump on where Microsoft, I think is that it really depends on how they sold in that initial launch of pre-orders. And that's that's going to be really put them with NPD. But just now, Sony just dropped the price now of the Pro $50 and the VR, but the Pro now is $350. So they're on lock now, possibly competing for December now against the Switch. Like now they're $350 with the Pro.
Cycle
until Christmas.
Who wins NPD?
Oh, we were talking about like things being in the wrong category earlier and shit like that, right? So I'm gonna say, look, there's a reason why I say this because I don't think the Switch should be in the same category. I don't think they should be in the same category as the console, as the Xbox and PlayStation. Because to me, it's a handheld, and Nintendo runs that market when it comes to that form of gaming. I feel like Nintendo is effectively taking themselves out of the console market and is catered to what sells for them, and that's handhelds. With that said, if we're going to keep it in the same category, I would say that Nintendo won. And kind of on the same lines as what Day One was saying, like when I'm out, all I hear is, Switch or you know what I'm saying, or people grabbing up those PlayStations. Even at work, I'm the gamer guy at my job, right? So people come to me and telling me how much their kids are, asking for the Switch and which one should they get and all that kind of stuff. And so, and the Switch was high on their kids' list. And one thing I've learned working in marketing is you always go with the kids. And it's almost Christmas time. It was Black Friday around the time. So I would have to say the Switch is going to win NPD.
Okay.
Yeah.
Attic, who wins NPD?
I'm going to go down with the ship and stay Xbox.
Yeah, that's
nice.
What's up?
I got to bet on IOP. I got to stick to my word. But I will say this, I think it's kind of, I'm not trying to like down the Switch, but I think it's kind of weird that you compare, because a lot of people like, oh, the Switch is going to overthrow the Xbox One. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. I was like, you realize the Switch is like the 9th generation console for Nintendo, right? You realize that like they beat the Wii U, like that's like comparing the current iPhone to the old iPhone. Like obviously what's gonna sell better is the current product. The last product the Xbox had besides the X was in 2013.
Yeah.
I just think it's weird how people compare the Switch to anything. Like, it's like how you compare new generation Nintendo to Microsoft's the 9th generation. I think that would be, we're on the 8th, right? The PlayStation and Xbox, that's the 8th generation.
Yeah. 8.5.
It's like, well, I don't count the 0.5, but it's like, why are you comparing Nintendo's 9th generation console to Sony and Microsoft's 8th generation console? Like, that makes no sense to me.
Fair enough.
No, that's not damage control. That's a legit point.
No, I agree with you. I agree. I think that the Switch is in its own case. Like, I can honestly tell you, like, I play it on my TV when I do play it. I never played it in the handheld mode.
I always play it on handheld.
Yeah,
when I had my,
I don't like handhelds. Like, I stopped playing handheld when the Game Boy Advance.
You put the 3DS like.
Yeah, but I'm not like I just don't like okay, I have a 3DS, but like, I mean I'm not a handheld person.
I'm not denying what the Switch is doing. Even if the next generation of Xbox and PlayStation was there, it would probably still do it. But at the end of the day, it's like, look, like they had to come out with another console mad early because their last one was such a failure. Like, true. It's like people give them that out. It's like, oh, the Switch is not competing with the Xbox One and the PS4. It's technically competing. It's technically competing with them, but it's legitly a whole generation above that. Like, imagine by the time the Switch goes away, there'll be 2 generations above the Xbox One and PS4.
And we'll still be playing in 480p on the freaking yeah, you know, because Nintendo never keeps with the.
You know, I see people in the comment section acting like that's not a legit argument. Like, look, it's not like I'm saying that what they're doing isn't credible, because it is. They're destroying their competition. I'm saying that they took the biggest L they could have, and they had to make another generation. When has that ever happened? Like, I don't think that's ever happened. They literally. Like a whole generation above a console is competing with the previous generations, because the last one was so bad. The Wii U so that bad that you have the 9th generation Nintendo console competing against the 8th generation PlayStation and Xbox console.
Only time that's ever happened is with Sega when they came out to Saturn and the Dreamcast. And
I don't get why.
Yeah, but I don't think you have to compare generation to generation. Like, whatever's on the market for sale at that time and whatever's getting mindshare, that's what the competition is. You can't just say, like, right off the Switch and go, oh, well, that's a 8th generation.
I'm not writing off the Switch. You guys are.
No, I see what he's saying. What he's saying is there are 2 different markets. Like, Microsoft and Sony's market are the same market. Nintendo doesn't have the same market as they do.
Exactly.
It's like you don't have all the third-party support.
We had the same problem as when the Wii came out, and it just like took over everything. And we're on the 360 and the PlayStation 3, and the Wii came out, and people waggling things, and people like, how is this selling? Do you remember Wii Play was like the best-selling game for like 2 years?
I hated the Wii
controller. It was like number 1 in NPD every single month because it came with an extra controller and a free game.
Yeah, but that console hit a different market. It wasn't even in the same market because you got to think that console didn't have the BioShocks. It had like one Call of Duty. It didn't have the major third-party games that 360 and PlayStation 3 had. So it was a different market.
Wouldn't it be fair?
But it
was a different market.
Wouldn't it be fair to compare like the Switch?
Just like the Switch is doing it now.
Xbox One and PlayStation 4 because it's actually gotten probably more of the common games.
No,
to a degree.
No, because it's not going to get this. Is it going to get Red Dead? Is it going to get anything third party that's going to be major? No, probably not.
No, but it got Skyrim and it has
But it's getting those games because of its sales.
Yeah, but it got Skyrim, but that game was on a PS3 and also the 360. So I kind of look and say, yeah, I applaud them. It's their first Skyrim game. But until they can get games on, and Nintendo, the thing with Nintendo is to me they will never get games on parity.
I mean, let's repeat that statement again.
But Skyrim, yeah, they got Skyrim. It was on the PS3 and the 360. So
it didn't come out for the Wii U. It took to the Switch to get Skyrim.
What I see Nintendo doing is they're going to come out with a lot, and this is just me. It's going to be a lot of like remasters, games that never hit Nintendo's platform. They were on 360 and PS3 will start coming out. You'll probably get a BioShock trilogy on that system and all these other, and that's cool. I'm not knocking that. That's cool for that crowd of people that they're trying to hit. But for me, if I have the choice to play it on my Xbox One X or my PS4 Pro, that's where I'm going to play it.
That's the part that kills me. That like people that I know they'll literally like LA Nora. They're like, I'm gonna buy that on the Switch. I'm like,
yeah, I have no reason to buy that on the Switch.
And then I know people that bought Doom, but I'm like, why? Like, you got an Xbox. Like, even like play it on your PC. Why are you buying that on the Switch?
there's no parity there, so there's no reason for me to buy it. I can see if the console was on a power scale of the PS4 Pro or the X, and I can say, oh, okay, well, you know what? And then, but there's not a parity thing there that it's like, okay, well, all these consoles have the same. It's not like the GameCube, the Xbox, and the PS2 in those days where they were so close. And in a sense that you can see all three games, you can say, okay, well, the Xbox is the best, and the GameCube, and the PS2 graphically, but Nintendo is not going to be there. I don't think they ever will be there. And I do agree, like they are in a category of their own, and it's not, you know, I've got Zelda, I got Mario, and I'm like, these games look really good compared to some of the third-party games I play on my PS4 and Xbox, but they're exclusive to that console. And then when you start putting games like Doom and Skyrim, let's be real, they don't look that great, you know, on that console compared to me playing it in 4K on my PS4 Pro, Xbox One X. They don't look that great. They don't play as well. The frames are horrible.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's more about the portability than
right.
You know,
right.
Taking Skyrim on the go is definitely appealing, but I mean, it's like I said, like there's nothing denying what the Switch does. It does what it does because it's literally the first console in a while, besides maybe the Wii, that appeals to such a broad horizon that, you know, it's literally can go in any household, literally. And especially when they start popping out, like, you know, streaming apps and stuff on that, you know, it's just gonna get better for them because, you know, I think some carriers are already doing like Switch, you know, with your plan, aren't they?
What, like cell phone plan?
Yeah, I'm trying.
I haven't seen that, but
I thought I saw an advertisement for this. I mean, but even if, you know, if that's true, like start putting different stuff on there, because at the end of the day, what the Switch does is it's a great tablet too. So, you know, if people start watching Netflix and stuff on the go with it, like, and
that's
not
gonna be
just
You just added Hulu to it.
Right.
well, I'm sure Netflix is coming. It's kind of weird they put Hulu on there before Netflix, but because I feel like Netflix has a bigger marketplace than that.
And Pokemon on that thing is going to.
Oh, when Pokemon comes out, it's over. It's like
it's done.
When Pokemon comes out, I would not be surprised if it does like 5 to 10 million in 3 or 4 months and just blow past Xbox. I mean, people sit there and they want to make fun of, you know, the Switch is going to outsell Xbox. Don't be surprised if the Switch outsells PS4 too.
I can see it selling in its own right really well. I don't have a problem with it selling well. It's just kind of like on its own merits. Like when you look at what it does well on its own merits because of its licenses it has behind it and its first party games. It's not really because of third party. Back in the day when Nintendo had all the third party developers before, you know, they screwed Sony over. We could say that, but now it's like everybody's everywhere making games everywhere except for Nintendo's platform. So it's kind of like it doesn't matter if they're going to sell well on their own merits. It's not going to be because of third party. Let's just say that it's not going to be because of third party.
But you're going to get third party
getting
over there because of the sales. And also too, there's not a controller limitation that was with the Wii, which prevented a lot of third party from going to the Wii because of the weird controller.
Right.
But because the Switch actually has the 2 thumbsticks and it actually has the comparable buttons to the competition, they could tone that thing down and port it over to the Switch. So you're going to see more of that with this thing selling.
Serious question. You know, people are going at me in the comments. Do you guys think there's any chance that Nintendo can catch up to PlayStation by the end of this generation?
It's not catching up.
Not at all. No, PlayStation has
70 million.
By the end of by the end of a generation,
it's gonna be 2 years from now.
By the end of a generation, sales start declining.
Right.
It hasn't for PlayStation though. That's the craziest thing, man. And when I saw that shit on Black Friday, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this thing's 4 years out, and people acting like
what is Switch about to sell the first year it came out?
Is it close to
10
million?
10?
I think
it's probably gonna be like
in its first year. So from the time it came out to the time, I would say 10 million. It's gonna do 10 million easy. I mean, Sony's gonna outsell the PlayStation 4 will outsell the PlayStation 1. I think it'd come close to the PlayStation 2 numbers, but I don't know if it's gonna outsell it. But the PlayStation 4 is.
I mean, look, all I'm saying is the Switch be doing these numbers with Zelda and Zelda and Mario, and it doesn't even have the game that really put its mobile market up past everything else, and that's Pokemon. I'm telling you, guys are underestimating Pokemon, dude, because that's one. If they put okay, like I know that they'll probably put it on the 3DS too, but if they only put that on the Switch, do not be surprised if every 3DS owner buys a Switch that day. Exactly. I'm telling you guys, Pokemon averages like 10 to 15 million a game.
Yeah, it's gonna sell well. I mean, but you gotta look.
I would not be surprised if they put a Pokemon game only on the Switch. It does like it sells like 5 million Switches in 2 or 3 months.
Here's a question: do you guys think that they come out with another 3DS? Or
nope. There's no reason to.
Exactly.
There's no reason to. Now that you got to switch,
they're going to keep supporting it though. They made a 2DS.
Well, it's not 3DS now. The 2DS.
Yeah, I don't see a reason to even keep supporting it at this point. With longevity, I mean, if it's still selling, I think it's so close to 70 million.
No, wait. What is this real talk? What sold this? What sold the 3DS if Pokemon didn't sell? I'm curious what you have to say about
Pokemon. No, Pokemon sold the 3DS.
No. Why don't you at Gaming Addict in the chat and tell me what sold the 3DS, my friend?
Oh shit.
Oh,
Buddy in Twabble.
No, I'm just curious. I'm curious what sold it. Like,
while he waits for that, I'm gonna get to what I would think when the NPD.
Go ahead.
I got I said Xbox will do it. Will win NPD, but I think it's gonna be Switch, and then Xbox, and then PlayStation, regardless of what happened on Black Friday. So I mean that's what I'm gonna say there. But who knows, you know? But I don't know. I think Xbox is going to I think Xbox should take it. Should take it. Will it? It's a toss up between Xbox and Switch for me. But
my thing is that do you think that if they don't hit it, like I think that this NPD is going to be the highest the X would sell until it gets a price drop. Like this is gonna be the highest, and then it'll tear down. Oh, like because it's still $500. So like, if it doesn't hit top NPD, do you think it'll ever until it does a price drop? Of the X at least.
With the S, depending on when they come out with their games next year, like Crackdown, Sea of Thieves, and said it has to have a big software push to me to really hit that NPD, and that's what's gonna. Look, if they announce another Halo at E3 and say it's coming out next year or something like that, or the year after, that's when you'll see a big push for the NPD for it. They have to have something big. It's going to have to be one of their big franchises or something new we've never seen before. That's what I feel is going to have to be to win it.
Have to be software to push it.
Yeah, have to be software, because right now I think that's why Microsoft is having a hard time with the NPD. They just don't have the exclusive software. Third-party software, yeah, but exclusive software, they just don't have enough of it coming out. You know, they're kind of like the Xbox One kind of reminds me of, like, in a lot of ways, kind of like the Wii U. Like they're in spurts. Like their games come out in spurts. It's like, here's 3 games a year that are exclusive, and that's it. And I'm like, what in the world are you doing? Like, you can't do that, because people will start to teeter off and look at your competition and say, well, shoot, Sony released 10 exclusives this year alone, you know, or more than that probably. But I'm just giving an example.
At the end of the day, what did we really like?
Please don't compare the Xbox.
Did we really expect more from the X? Like, they didn't have games to push it. Like, this is literally all they're gonna get.
Exactly. That's the thing, man.
I'm sorry, Smooth. I didn't mean to compare it to the Wii U as far as sales. What I'm saying is, like, the way the games are coming out. That's what when Nintendo's Wii U came out, like, the games, they came out very poorly, piss poor. And I think Microsoft is doing that same thing. They have console sales.
With the Wii U, they were releasing 3 games a year with no third-party support.
Yeah. But people want first party support. Like, they really are craving that. The Xbox,
I think people are just craving that now. The fact, because it's a thing now.
I think people.
No, it's always been a thing.
It's
man.
always people
had the
always
game.
wanted first party.
It's just
support.
they had the games in the first 3 years. They had those games, and now
why
we have
was
a drought.
360 so popping then?
Because of third party support. That's why it wasn't first party.
And it had a year ahead of everybody too.
Look, Microsoft 360 had a year ahead of Sony. It was cheaper. They came out with the right. They weren't cocky. Sony did the same thing that Microsoft did this time with the PS3. Sony's PS3 had the same messaging that the Xbox One had.
I actually don't think Sony messed up as much as they
no.
did on the
What I'm saying is
Xbox.
Sony had the same. No, with the PS. No, Sony of course didn't. But
I don't think any platform
their marketing
would do the dumb shit the Xbox.
But you got to remember when PlayStation came out. What did they say? You want a PlayStation? Go get another job. You'll buy. Go get a. And so I was like, the marketing, how they were so.
But that was just one thing.
But what I'm saying, they were cocky. They were cocky. They gave
their console was a specific engine that was very challenging
right.
for developers, so it was hard for them to develop for it.
The third party marketing is what helped the 360 be so successful, because Microsoft last generation, they swiped up all these people and said, look, here's money. We want your game first here. We want exclusive content. Microsoft did that last generation hardcore to the max.
Well, across the pond, they grabbed Kojima and put him on stage.
Oh my god!
Yeah, they did it, man.
Kid, I can kill you. Like, all I see in the chat is Halo, Gears, and Forza.
Oh my god.
We're gonna have to see. I would not be surprised if half of Weapon Wheel chat is saying that shit.
Halo, Gears, and Forza.
That's fine. You know what I heard? Just a rumor though, but I heard that Sony hired Microsoft's team from the 360, their marketing team.
I'm surprised, man.
I said for the longest time, Microsoft and Sony aren't competing. Microsoft and Sony's marketing team are competing.
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
I think. All right, so it is what it is. Let's get on to the next. So the Game of the Year awards not only will hand out awards, they will also premiere some new games, new trailers. What do you guys think would be we're gonna see? We know Sea of Thieves is gonna be there.
Yep, Sea of Thieves release date.
We got a release date for Sea of Thieves?
Yep, I'm calling it right now.
I'm calling a beta date.
Nope, I'm calling a beta date and a release date.
There's no release date for that game. That game is a beta growing, and it's going to slowly progress.
I'm calling a beta date and then a release date. Like, they're going to say we're going to launch a beta in such and such date, and that's it. Yeah, no, they're going. They're going to say we're launching, the beta maybe in February, and it's going to come out in like March or April. That's what I'm saying. They're going to say that. They're going to say that we have the beta coming out in February, and then March or April they're going to have a release date too.
I think the game is going. The new beta, the alpha goes live tomorrow. The big update where you get like a big part of the game opens up. I think a release date happens at the Game of the Year awards, and I think it's going to be the week before God of War. I'm calling it to be I believe God of War will come out on the 22nd of March. I think Sea of Thieves will be ready for a they're going to be ready for a March 20th.
Here's a question. I saw someone in the chat say Death Stranding. I don't think Death Stranding is still I think there might be some kind of like maybe gameplay trailer, but someone said release date. I don't think someone would ever let them announce a release date not on their stage.
That's it. I don't think.
Yeah, Death Stranding is not nowhere near ready for release anyway. So, I mean, I don't know why anybody would expect that. We haven't seen an ounce of gameplay. All we've seen was a naked Norman Reedus.
That game, Sucker Punch is making the samurai game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That game from Sucker Punch is going to come out before Death Stranding. I guarantee you.
I agree. I can agree with that.
Do you think we get another Telltale game announcement?
Death Stranding is going to be premiering on the PS5.
You said a Telltale game?
Yep.
You mean like maybe like I don't know, like they've been doing all kind of maybe they do something different in the DC universe, like the Flash.
Telltale Stranger Things.
Oh, that would be pretty interesting.
That would be dope.
That would be dope. Yeah, that actually would be kind of dope. That would be kind of dope.
That would be pretty cool. I just thought of that. I think so.
Yeah,
I can see that though, because they just announced Stranger Things season 3, and it just wrapped up. So I bet you they'll do a Stranger Things.
What do you guys think? The new game that it's supposed to be the 6th game in the installment that they teased. People were saying, somebody said Halo 6, somebody said Metal Gear Solid 6, or Elder Scrolls 6. What do you think?
I don't think Halo would. Maybe Elder Scrolls 6, isn't that they're on that?
I think with the Elder Scrolls Online being, I don't think an Elder Scrolls game is.
Well, you said it's going to be a single
if I
big
remember
game.
correctly, didn't Bethesda announce one of the Elder Scrolls at the reward show?
Was it
remember
Morrowind? Was it Morrowind?
I think it was one of them. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, but Morrowind is like not even like mainline. That's the online game.
Right, like that's online. It can't be Fallout unless they're doing some kind of off-brand Fallout.
Not anymore.
I'm wanting to say it was Skyrim was announced at VGA.
Yes, it was. It was. At the
yeah.
I remember the dragon on the wall, right?
Yeah, I remember the people coming up in the black robes and shit.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, and they're doing the monk chant.
I definitely think that could be the game, because they're building up to something, man. They've released those games 3 and 4 times.
I don't think so. I don't see them coming out with the Elder Scrolls game this quick. I think that game is we're not going to see an Elder Scrolls game.
Elder Scrolls Online was made by another company overseas
by
Bethesda.
I think it was ZeniMax or something like that.
Yeah, ZeniMax is the parent company.
But I don't think that we're going to see Elder Scrolls. I don't think we're going to see that.
It just depends on how. It just depends on how. Like, I feel like maybe next year, the year after that, we might see something on Elder Scrolls. But I don't know how much of their team was on Fallout 4.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm not sure if they would announce that Game Awards. They might do the same thing they did with Fallout, just announce it at their E3 thing.
And then it comes out that year.
Yeah. But they need another tentpole game. They ran through all their IP, like so far. Like they ran through the Wolfenstein. They got through Dishonored. They went through Doom. Like maybe Doom 2. Maybe Doom 2.
Is Unreal out already?
To be honest, they wouldn't even have to announce anything at the Video Game Awards. I mean, they just launched 2 of their IPs. They're good for a while.
I could see them doing another Fallout game made by somebody else. I could really see that, because I could see them saying, okay, we got this Fallout game and we had all this code, we had all this extra stuff, so we're just gonna make a whole nother game to hold you until the next Elder Scrolls game come out. I could see them doing another Fallout.
You guys in the chat talking Crackdown. No, Crackdown's back in the vault. Talking about
Crackdown could be back, but I don't know if it's.
That's not going on. That was.
I
think Crackdown.
That's in the vault.
Crackdown is going to be at E3 again.
Yeah,
definitely.
Hope not.
That's a way, man.
Oh, New Vegas too. No, but Obsidian made New Vegas. I don't know.
Right, but see, there's been rumors that there's another Fallout coming. That's what I'm saying,
man. I would flip out.
Oh yeah, of course. But
oh my god, because Fallout 4 was trash. So
I mean, I'm still playing it. I don't like. It's interesting to me. I'm having fun with it. It's interesting the stuff you can do in it. But I could say my favorite Fallout was probably Fallout 3.
Fallout 3 was my favorite.
I still haven't finished that one. I'm having a hard time playing all of them at the same time. They're just massive games.
Yeah, I can't.
Fallout 4 suffered a huge casualty called the casual market. Like it took a huge hit because of the casual market.
Yeah, I can say that. I can kind of see what you're getting at that. Yeah.
Yeah, Fallout 4 looked horrible. If you look at comparisons with Fallout 4 and Fallout 3 in New Vegas, like there were certain aspects of the game that the older games look better than the newer games.
Yeah, that's why I want Elder Scrolls. I don't want to see that.
Because Elder Scrolls are always visually impressive every time they come out.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that was like the first 360 game, like when that came out, man. It was like when you got out of the prison, and it was like, wow.
Here's a question though. Going back to the Sea of Thieves thing, they're talking like they were kind of hyping that up, like it was an experience that we've not seen through Sea of Thieves. I think they're finally going to show the Kraken. They've always been teasing the Kraken, but they've never showed it. Like at E3,
they didn't even show it at E3. They just
E3. They went in that cave, and there was an octopus of some sort that was carved in the wall. Remember? And they were like, "Well, we'll go into that later," and then they went up the hallway.
Yeah. So who knows, man? I'm hoping to see something because I need to see something. Xbox do something. I'm curious to see what that 6th game is. That
I want to see a Fable.
Oh man, I would love another Fable.
Yeah, I'm still mad at Microsoft for fucking that up.
Yeah, I would love another Fable.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. Microsoft is not going to cancel Crackdown. Crackdown will come out trash before it's canceled.
Oh no, they're not going to crack.
They'll just release the multiplayer at least.
Crackdown can literally come down broken. Crackdown could come down like Battlefield 4 did when it first launched, and they can never. And they could literally have this situation where it would come out like Battlefield 4, and they have no intentions on fixing it, and they would release it like they would cancel it.
But do you think that
because a broken game sounds better than a canceled game?
Yeah. But do you think that, like, you know, of the games we know from them, do you think that they have any kind of anything that they might surprise?
A third-party deal that we don't know about.
A third-party deal, you think?
I think a third-party now. Yeah, I think a third-party deal we just don't know about. Somebody's making a game that we're not thinking about, and it's some third-party deal, and they're like, "Okay, Microsoft, you got the rights to X amount of time," which I think is cool bad, but I just see that. I think
they announced that Microsoft's gonna be in their face saying,
"This is what I'm going to predict." I'm going to predict that Microsoft's going to have a third-party deal, and it's going to be Tomb Raider, the next Tomb Raider. That's what I would say.
Like, here's
not again. Like, they just Splinter Cell, maybe.
People keep saying that, you know, third-party deals don't help. Microsoft, you know, they invested a lot of money into something that didn't help them. It's like, look, third-party deals help.
Oh, yes, they do.
But here's the thing. You got to, Tomb Raider would have helped.
Right.
But there were circumstances that didn't, the reason it did not help.
And it released the day of Fallout.
Yeah, that was the biggest reason. Because for some
Tomb Raider is a
reason,
better game than Fallout.
But here's the thing: that hype behind Fallout 4 was way bigger than.
Yeah, it was huge.
It was, but it was a trash game.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, Fallout was going to sell way. It was going to sell well more than Tomb Raider. And then the thing is, Tomb Raider is kind of known with PlayStation name. That's where it started. Another thing that they took an L is because Square announced that the game was coming out on their competitor before it actually launched on Xbox. And then everybody's like, "Oh, I'll just wait."
Square Enix, I never liked them.
Like, it's not the timing. Like, okay, let's look at games like you know, Dead Rising 4. You know, as much as kid don't want to admit this, Dead Rising 4 was a bad investment. It was trash.
Actually, check out the Dead Rising 4 update.
I don't give two shits what Dead Rising update. Did they update the whole game, kid? Is the whole game different?
No, I'm just saying.
Then it's trash.
The game is. I thought the game was pretty good. I mean, nobody can tell me the game's trash because I mean,
I haven't played it.
But it was a 1-year exclusive deal.
But I think that was a bad deal.
Yeah, I don't care about 1-year deals. It's like, how is that bad?
1-year deals are good if they're actually good games.
You need your own IP and you need your own studios making that IP so you can build the sequels to those games.
Like
one-off third-party deals doesn't do anything for you.
It's not even that. If you just want to, you know, buy a third party just to have another game in your library that year, that's fine. But make it a good game. You can't put out you can't literally fund a game.
It's not Xbox fault that Capcom just auctioned off.
So you mean to tell me? Hold up. Okay, you got it. You got to put some of the blame on Xbox. So they invested into a company for a game and didn't check on the game.
I'm sure that Dead Rising deal was like years. Like they have like so many games.
But why is Dead Rising 3 never made a PlayStation, but Dead Rising 4 did?
Why didn't Microsoft? Because at least, if in that logic, do you honestly think Microsoft didn't at least go and check on their progress of the game they invested into?
Well,
of course they did. Look at the 360 with the first Mass Effect. That game was on a 360 forever, and it never came to PlayStation 3 until the trilogy came. And they were like, "Oh, but that game was known for, you know, being a 360 exclusive game." And it eventually, so like, I can understand what he's saying. Like, Microsoft, and I agree. Like, Microsoft, you gotta. Both hands are wrong. Like, Capcom was wrong, but Microsoft should have checked Capcom too.
Well, the game was a disaster.
I don't think it's not that it was a disaster.
But
it just wasn't the success they wanted it to be.
Look at this. Okay, look at examples. Okay, you have example on Microsoft. Tomb Raider. That was a good investment. I do think that was a wise investment.
That was a good
You
move.
have Dead Rising 4. What else have they got that they contracted and bought the exclusive rights to?
Well, then Titanfall 1.
Well, Titanfall 1,
but that was a good investment.
That was a good investment.
Now look at this year. On Sony's side, you have Nier Automata. That was a good investment.
Real good investment.
You got Neo.
Real good investment.
Yeah, bitches in the chat. I said it right. Because you have I don't really consider Persona an investment. I think they have
I think they got the rights to that.
And they got the Yakuza series.
They have huge, they're in bed with that company a lot, so I don't think it matters. I think that game was always going to be exclusive regardless. But all I'm saying is, like, they make good investments. That's one of the reasons Sony is where they're at right now, is because Microsoft makes okay investments, but their games don't sell like they should be. And I know you can blame that on the consumer if you want, but at the end of the day, it's not the consumer's job to like the game. It's their job to buy the game. And if you don't make games that apply to your consumers, you can't bitch when they don't buy it.
Like, I think Sunset Overdrive was a good investment for Microsoft. That game just was not really, it didn't fit that platform or what they were trying to do.
And they want to own that IP. That's the thing. They wanted to own that IP, and they Insomniac kept that IP.
Yeah,
and that was the thing. I think that's why we didn't see a sequel, because Microsoft wants.
We're gonna see a sequel, but it's gonna be multi-plat. It's not gonna be exclusive. I don't see it being.
Well, that's the whole reason why they work with Microsoft, because they want to keep the rest of their games.
Exactly.
And, if
and that's the problem with working.
I will
with
say,
those
we're going,
man. They want their IP. That's why you got to make your own.
I know the people in the chat ain't gonna like this next statement, but we're gonna see a Recore 2 before we see a Sunset Overdrive 2 or a Rise 2.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Wait, hold on. Wait, multi-plat or just on Xbox only?
On Xbox.
On Xbox.
No,
you know what's
Microsoft owns the rights to that game.
Damn, like that game, I'm playing that game. That game is so poorly optimized. Like it's
saying the same thing.
It's
a glorified Unity game, bro. It was made on the Unity engine, man.
Well, I get that. But look. All I'm saying is, the concept behind the game was good, but everything in the game
was not optimized well.
Executed. Everything in that game was poorly executed. You got a big sandbox world that's got nothing in it. You got really weird combat system that's like coordinated, and like the combat was fun, but it was repetitive. And you got one gun until the update, and it's just like this game had so much potential as a good platformer / adventure game, and there you go again. Microsoft invested into shit that really shouldn't have invested into, and they didn't invest in their own games like Recore.
Well, you know why I bought it? Because they were like
Japanese studio.
When they said, well, that's the reason I bought it, because they were like, from the guys who helped make Metroid Prime. I was like, this game is gonna be amazing. And then I was like, this game is so poorly optimized. Because like Mafia 3 had a great story, but that game was poorly optimized too. Yeah. Like those games were almost broken when you got them. I remember playing Recore, getting to a part and unloading the door and running and then falling in the ground and falling in the map. And I'm like, what the hell? And the game was just poorly optimized. Like it wasn't ready to be released. They should have waited and should have had it like the end of this year come out, because they
released a definitive edition. It was so great.
I mean,
it was poorly optimized. It just was poorly optimized.
Do you guys think that if Sony made these same deals, we'd be saying the same thing, or those games would sold the same amount?
But that's the point.
It's a double-edged sword.
That's the point. Sony ain't made these deals.
But I'm saying, if they made a deal with Rise, we'd be like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if they did the deal with
Sunset Overdrive was on PlayStation.
But if Sunset Overdrive
was a PlayStation game, what would people do? It's like, come on, I don't think that will make it good. Like,
here's the question though: if these games are on PlayStation, would they sold better?
Yes,
of course.
The reason Sunset would have sold better because people associate Insomniac with Sony. They don't associate Insomniac with
from the studio.
I even think if you put them at I even think if you put both install bases at the same player base, the same install base. Like, I do think some of these games would sell better on PlayStation and some would still sell good on Xbox. Like, there's no reason that Titanfall did so well as an exclusive and it flopped as a multiplayer. Because Titanfall, it connects with the player base of Xbox.
But see, I think Sony's like involved in like I don't think they care so much about it selling blockbusters as much as Microsoft wants this to sell like blockbusters.
They care.
Well, the thing is,
they
no.
care.
Why did they make a Knack 2 then, man? Like
because Knack 1 sold.
No, because Knack 1 sold and Knack 2 was a filler game because Sony was like, well, we don't really have anything major, but we can just throw this out there for $39 and it's a filler game. I think about how Sony does a lot of their games. A lot of them come out at $39, not $59. So they're like, oh, you want another Uncharted? Here's one for $39. Even though it's DLC with Uncharted 4, they're just throwing games out left and right for $39. Here you go. Here's another Knack. It's like,
no,
well, the
that
first
was DLC expansion.
Right, but what I'm saying is it sold on in its own marriage. It could have sold as a standalone by itself. It was worthy enough to sell at $39 by itself. It really was.
They're doing Loco Roco 2.
I don't know.
PSP game.
I do want to ask you guys a question.
They don't. I think like, what about that article where the guy said that the limited run games where they couldn't work on Microsoft because they want a certain base sell or something like that before they would partner with them or something like that. I remember that coming out.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
So like, I'm thinking like, there must be a threshold that Microsoft's like, well, we're not going to do this unless we are guaranteed this much. And I think Sony is a little bit more liberal with, just put it on just get it on our platform.
Well, I think the thing is Microsoft is learning because look at what is it Turn 10 Studios? They have another studio they're making and they're doing a big open world game. I think
they confirmed that's a multi-plat because I know that like
I don't know if that's multi-plat.
They kind of dug around it, but I don't think anyone's ever came out and said that it's definitely not an exclusive. Like
I don't know if it is or isn't. But I think that Sony has set a precedence where they're like, look, Guerrilla make other games. Look, Insomniac make other games. Look, look, studios, you're gonna wait. Like, what if 343 did another game, or the Coalition did another game? But Microsoft was still set in their ways of you can only make Halo, you can only make Gears. If Microsoft and this is people don't think about this, like if Microsoft had to let Bungie do what they did, Bungie would have probably stayed with them. Destiny, even though a lot of people don't like Destiny would have been exclusive to Microsoft. That game is huge. No matter if people like it or not, that game would have been exclusive to the Xbox platform. And that would have made people buy Xboxes.
The question would Destiny be where Destiny is without it being a multi-plat?
Yes. I believe it would because it has.
I don't think it would have been there.
Being exclusive to Xbox, it's so slim. It's so similar to Halo. It fits right in that Microsoft.
It would have been. Yes, it did.
Exactly.
It would have been a system seller, but I don't think it would be as big as it is.
I think it'd be.
It would have been huge, man.
It'd be huge.
I think no. Like at the end of the day, if there's one thing Activision can do, it's sell product. They promote like crazy. They give a marketing budget, like they give every game huge marketing budgets when they really get behind a game. And I don't see Microsoft putting that kind of money behind it.
I do,
especially if it's a new IP.
No, I do because it's Bungie and it's the guys that are coming off of Halo. And if they had 343 making Halo and they had Bungie making this new Destiny game, and that was exclusive, they would put a lot of work behind that Destiny game if it was exclusive to Xbox. They really would have. That game would have sold Xboxes off the shelf, flying left and right. Here's
another thing.
That would have really helped that console.
If that happened, we would be playing a completely different Destiny. We wouldn't be playing the one we're playing now.
Microsoft would have made sure that DLC was legit too.
No, it's not that. It's Destiny was completely rerouted like a year and a half by Activision before
it came. You talking about the first one?
So if Microsoft did it, maybe they would. Because the thing that Activision did is they made it more of style of like an MMO than just a story oriented game. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's part of the reason Destiny's the way it is because of that grind. People like that loot sensation. They like a little bit of that gambling going through their blood. I don't think that game would be around if it was an Xbox exclusive.
I think it would because like and here's my thing. Like I bought the first one, right? And immediately when I played the game, I was like, man, this kind of has a Halo feel to it. And I'm a Sony guy, and last generation I was a Xbox guy, and I was like, this feels like Halo. All my friends that never played Halo, they're like, what? This is what Halo kind of feels like. I'm like, it kind of reminds me of like a lot of things about Halo, like the weapons in there. There's different names. It just reminds me of Halo. It's Halo. And
I felt dirty playing the first one.
Shout Shout out to Honest Games. Go look at that trailer. Like, it's funny. Like, literally
Yeah, it's
everything
Halo.
he said, he was comparing it to Halo. They got creature.
They got the brute. They got the brutes.
The brutes are pretty. The
everything.
brutes are the cabal. I mean, man,
They got the
it's
jackals.
The fallen of the jackal. It's like it was no the elites. The fallen of the elites.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it was.
Somebody
The
said
ghost is Cortana.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes. Somebody said if Destiny was an Xbox exclusive, Halo would be dead. No, you're smoking crack.
They would have had them left. They would have had them alternating, man.
They would have them alternating. Exactly.
No, I feel like if they would have let Bungie do what they did, I feel like 343 still would have been made.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, of course, 343 would have been doing Halo, and Bungie would have been doing Destiny.
They still, and that might have made Halo a better game because some of the staff wouldn't have left.
But see, that's the thing I think Microsoft needs. They needed something like a Destiny or something like that. Something that's brand new that we never saw before. Like I said, like if Destiny to me was, it didn't matter if it was multi-plat or if it was just on one console. I wanted to play it. I was going to play that game wherever it was, and that's the reason, I own multiple consoles. And I just think Microsoft doesn't have anything this generation that's on that level of
they don't they haven't
they have nothing big and new. They don't have
they haven't got their Halo or their Gears.
No, and they need
none of those.
Yeah,
I would love for them to release another you were just saying the game Fable in a style of like that Zelda feel to it, that big open world, do anything
for the dark tone.
Yeah, that they do.
And they don't have to get rid of the British humor. I know that made Fable, but I feel like what made Fable wasn't really the British humor; it was the choice deciding.
Right.
It was the way your character changes on the bad decisions you make in the game, or the way the world changes from the bad decisions you make. Like I feel like they still could have had that engine, but took away the British humor, put a dark humor and a dark atmosphere in its place.
Microsoft can bring back a lot of their IPs from the first Xbox.
That's what Phil promised when he walked on stage.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see.
There's some good IPs they can bring back. I'm just waiting to see what happens.
I'm thinking now the new Microsoft, though, and even from the last E3, I think they're going to start doing stuff from the ground up, but not big studios like this. I think they're going to do the little guys and try to make those things like little and build them up.
Indies?
Yeah, I think that's the way they're going, because even the last E3 they did, like I don't see them having this big studio of like 200 people working like underground, and Phil Spencer's going to come out and be like, Mech Assault, here it is, guys. I had them working on it in the basement. I don't think so. I think it's going to be some indie guys like this PUBG, and they're just going to find what's hot and make those games kind of exclusive to their platform in their engines, in their world. Yeah.
Before we, close out, because I know we're getting close to that, I do want to go around and ask, like, what is an acceptable? How many generations should one game continue playing?
As long as it sells.
No, I mean, I get that we say that, that's the correct business term.
Are you asking like?
But as a consumer, how many generations or years has to go? We'll go by generations. From the 360 to the Xbox One, the Xbox to the 360. Like, when should Halo have died? By the Xbox One? Is that when they should have rotated and had Bungie make something new? Like, do you think
as long as they can reinvent it, I think it's okay.
I don't think it should just go by as long as it sells, because you're still going to have that big player base regardless. If you have a big player base like Halo, it's going to sell millions regardless how many you have.
For me as a consumer, go ahead.
If you keep using your best talent to keep making these games, you're never going to find the next big thing.
Well, I would say that it depends on how. So, from a business standpoint, as long as the game keeps selling, for me as a consumer, it's as long as the game is still good. I've been playing Mario for I don't know how many years, and they're good games, so I will keep consuming them. Zelda, same thing. Forza, same thing. Uncharted, same thing.
I just feel like not necessarily kill Halo, but I do think there's a certain time where you have to get, because that's one of the reasons they have right now. They don't have the studios, they don't have the talent to make really high quality games, because the talent they do have is making the same games.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, I think that you could continue a franchise as long as you kind of reinvent it with each iteration. And they haven't really done that, though.
I feel like they did that with Halo. I feel like they did that.
I feel like they don't get credit for the reinventions they did with Halo.
What they did reinvent Halo.
Halo 5 and Halo 4 is uncomparable to Halo like 2 and Halo 3 and Halo.
I didn't play Gears a whole lot, but I felt it with Halo. Like they definitely, maybe the story wasn't as good as people anticipated. Maybe they did a little market.
The story wasn't bad. The story wasn't what was advertised. That's all.
Maybe they did a little bit of false advertising for that story. But that multiplayer was lit.
Oh no, I'm not talking about multiplayer. I'm talking about like the story. Like they still have those tropes where, and you still find the same enemies too, except the Prometheans came in, but you still find the grunts. Like, come on, guys! Like, let's get some new alien races in there. Like,
don't expect that for Halo 6.
No, I know.
I think that the flood is coming back in Halo 6.
But look what
the flood. God, I hate
but look what Nintendo did with Zelda, like with that, how they kind of reinvented, even though they kept it similar. And look what PlayStation's doing with God of War. Like it's not the same isometric camera; it's different. So like, I think
I don't like that change though. That I'm not saying that game's gonna be bad. I'm still gonna try it, but that change—that's such a drastic.
I mean, that's
change.
So you want them to turn like Halo into like a third-person shooter or RPG?
No.
That?
I'm just saying.
I think Halo got like from all the Xbox first-party games. I think Halo got like the biggest change.
I think God of War has. I think God of War has a really good chance of being because I feel like. I like to call that the Last of Us effect, where they kind of converted some of their games to that.
I totally agree. Totally.
And there's going to be more narrative in God of War than you ever seen, I'm sure.
That works out for them, man, because there's a reason they keep converting some of their formulas to that formula because their fan base fucking loves that shit.
Eat it up, man.
I want to see your shoulder.
And I'm gonna tell you, that God of War 4, I bet you has so much narrative into it instead of the other God of Wars where he's like, I'm just gonna rip his head off. He's gonna be sitting there talking to his son, and there's gonna be so much more narrative and story-driven focus in this God of War. I guarantee you, it's gonna have that Last of Us stuff in it.
I don't think it's gonna be called God of War 4 though.
You guys think that Sony would be where they're at if they never made Last of Us, like exactly where they're at right now if they never made Last of Us?
Yeah, they still would be there. They have a huge and diverse library.
And that Spider-Man thing, man, that is going to be huge. That Spider-Man thing, man.
I feel like they would definitely be where they're at now, but I feel like some of the games and some of the inspirations that some of these games have took from Last of Us, I think their first parties might be lacking a little bit more than they are now. Because Last of Us helped them a lot.
Oh yeah,
it's
no
just
doubt.
I feel like Last of Us was one of the prime reasons they came out in the beginning of this generation dominating because they left.
Yeah, I gotta roll, y'all.
They left the PS3 possibly one of the best games that's ever been made.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but like I said, just don't be surprised if Guerrilla makes another Killzone and it's a third-person cover-based shooter like Gears of War. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just saying, don't be surprised if you see something like that.
Man. And it works. Horizon, they better not go back to fucking Killzone.
They're gonna make another Killzone. They're gonna make another Killzone.
Horizon 2 guaranteed. Then
they're gonna make another Horizon, but they're guaranteed gonna make another Killzone. Like I said, don't be surprised if they say, "Well, let's try this third-person cover-based shooter kind of mechanics like Gears of War." And I can see Sony doing something like that because they say Guerrilla change something up, do something different. Like, for instance, Destiny wasn't supposed to be a first-person shooter. It was supposed to be a third-person shooter in the beginning. That's how it was tooled. But then in the end, they said, okay, first-person shooter. So would Destiny have been different if it was a third-person shooter versus a first-person shooter? It would be a huge difference.
I know you guys are going to laugh, and I think I've said this on this podcast before, but I think it would be cool if Coalition made a third-person Halo game.
Oh yeah, man!
Like gory as fuck, like third-person, and I wanted to make it from the Covenant's perspective, where you're like an arbiter from there's an arbiter. I can't remember his name is, but he was betrayed by the Covenant because he was the reason that the arbiter has such a bad name.
Yeah, was that in the expansion stuff, the Halo 4?
He was the reason the Arbiter has such a negative name. Before him, the Arbiter used to be like they're one of their commanders, the highest power they could possibly have. But they deemed it like pretty much like if you get put on Arbiter, you're pretty much like going into battles for a suicide fight. And
man,
I would love
a new enemy.
If Coalition made that game and you were him, and you did the last moments of his life.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think Microsoft needs.
That's what they need, man.
They need to change. That would be something they need to change. They need to tell their studios, go ahead and do something you want to do. We just need to see your product before you. And if we go ahead and do something different.
Imagine making that Arbor thing and having it just like, obviously not like art style gory like Gears of War, because you can't have, you know, Halo and the Gears of War art style, but having the Halo art style tweaked. Obviously, you don't want the same graphics we have currently now. You want an updated engine. Have an updated engine that's just as gory as Gears.
Oh,
like imagine the Arbiter walking up to like Marines just popping their heads off and shit.
Yeah, I mean,
that would be cool.
I can see that being really amazing. Like, and that's what I think people want from Microsoft. They want to see those changes in their games. Like, okay, let's be real. We don't really want Super Lucky Tail. Like, I mean, we don't want stuff like that. We want something that, like, the whole basis of like people having 360s. It was the mature person's game system. It was I'm not gonna lie. Back in the day, it was called the shooter box. Everybody knew you bought your shooters, your racers.
It's still a shooter box.
See, it's kind of and that's the reason why it has its problems. Because
that's not a bad stereotype. It's just
it's not. But the problem is it only has the three things. It's like, oh, we got our shooters, we got our racers, and no Halo Gears and Forza, like you said. It's like, but there's nothing.
Don't say that. The chat's about to be lit.
People forget that this generation for Xbox, and like they had all brand new IPs that were all single player based,
and that's the reason.
There's no that we love from Nintendo and Sony, but when Xbox did it, we don't like it.
But there's no denying that they do a bunch of single player oriented games, and that, you know, some of them so decent, some of them didn't sell well. And the one game that was multiplayer that they did exclusive, Titanfall, sold really good.
Right.
Yeah. They were built on community, built on Xbox Live, and that's the thing. Like, those games don't attest to their infrastructure, their online.
Why do you think they're making CFDs? It's a community-based game.
That's not the same.
Nah, I would have rather them did a Fable freaking MMO than CFDs.
Yeah, the Fable Legends. Nobody
don't know what.
No. Fable Legends wasn't. Fable Legends was a freaking. It was.
If they would have named that something else and had it done better. The Fable original fans were already pissed because it wasn't as true Fable fan. I was so annoyed, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it. Then when I played it, I was like, fuck Rare, not Rare.
The combat in CFDs is trash, so it's not gonna be fun to shoot things in that unless they fix it.
Look, like, you know, and I saw people in the comment section say, oh, you know, we don't want no Halo. Like, look, I'm not saying that Coalition needs to make a Halo game. All I was saying was, if that's the only thing Microsoft feels comfortable putting out there to sell, let another company put their perspective on a Halo game.
Right.
It's not a Halo game.
But Microsoft has to not be a Me Too company, because, like you said, the Fable Legends, all it was is Paragon, but it was Fable. And I was like, they don't do what you do well. Don't try to see, okay, well, this game is doing well on their platform. Let's emulate and copy this and this. No, the next Fable game should have been a big open world game where you can play with a whole bunch of people and do quests. It should have been like Paragon, where you're doing freaking, you know, it just didn't make sense. You know, it just didn't.
But they trashed the Halo. They trashed Fable, man. They made them do Connect games.
Hey, you can't
out with the next Fable. They made it do the Connect one. That's when Molyneux left.
How do you know they made them do that?
Look. I'm sorry.
Because Microsoft owns them.
Okay, I got to interrupt you guys. Raven, I'm sorry, man. You can't compare Microsoft to EA. Like,
oh hell no,
no,
it's not that bad.
Yeah, like, look, Microsoft makes some fuckery shit, but EA is king of that shit.
Oh god, no.
EA came out the Game Pass, man, the online pass.
I thought Ubisoft did that.
No, I think Ubisoft started that, and then the EA followed, and they just did it differently.
Sports games, man.
Right.
I mean, if you feel like
you know what though, Microsoft does try to get that kind of like that, not microtransaction, but yeah, somewhat. But like, you know, the cards and Gears, they had the packs and Halo, you know, the CFDs as a service game. You know, they kind of they do try to put that in there, like as their MO. Like, I do see that, you know. Yeah, but I think Halo was good with it. The problem I had with Halo was that they really didn't have good maps that were really memorable on Halo that was created by the developer. Like a lot of it was just user created stuff, and they relied on that a lot. Like I wish they had a couple more like unique maps that were special. Like they didn't do that in their support, even though they said everything was free.
I mean, when it comes down to it, man, like we're just gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see what happens.
Yeah, I just don't want to wait to E3, man, because
I'm done waiting.
I'm done waiting too, man. That's why they release these games.
I'm done waiting.
Yep, that's what I did. See, that's what I did. I said, I know after E3, I was like, I'm not waiting for next E3.
I do have one prediction. I think we may see that you may see something from Microsoft, because this game has kind of been with the Xbox franchise for a long time, and I could see another Splinter Cell getting announced at the Game Awards, and Microsoft.
It was kind of weird that Splinter Cell didn't come out at E3. That was like everyone's. Even Rand said that he heard, and usually when Rand says something, he got a little bit of insider juice. So even when it didn't get announced, like, first off, Microsoft's E3 threw everybody a curveball. No one expected that shit.
Yeah, the price too, man. But Jeff Keighley was getting like assaulted before the.
I expected that price.
I think that was a controlled price. I think Microsoft wanted him to leak that to get everyone's expectations under control.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jeff Keighley's been in this system, in this industry long enough not to leak shit like that on purpose.
Yeah, he knows better. So that was something that it was intentional.
It caused a wave, man. I mean, getting attacked.
But I could see them saying, "Hey, Splinter Cell's coming, and it'll be on Xbox One X, first, and you can play it better on Xbox." Well, they'll say you can play it better on Xbox One X here first, blah blah blah, and it'll probably come to PS4 later. So, and I think the problem with that is when you say it's, we had this conversation last time, when you say it's coming to Xbox One X, you can't even talk about it's even coming to PlayStation, because then what'll happen is people will say, well, shoot, I'll just wait for the PlayStation version to come out. And if it flops on the Xbox, it's going to flop on the PlayStation. So you got to let that game, like, you can't even talk about it being like when that Tomb Raider game was like, oh, it's coming out here. And then they were like, yeah, but it's coming out. I was like, geez, man, don't even talk about the other consoles coming to.
That's why it can't be one game, man. They need to show their portfolio. They need to show what their roadmap is, and I don't think he's willing to share that. But they can't just have one game going, "Hey, this is coming," because it's gonna be interviewed. It's gonna leak that it's going to the next console.
Yeah, it is.
The PlayStation.
It's gonna leak.
PlayStation sold so much. I don't know. Microsoft has enough money that they want to put into that to.
Would you guys?
70 million consoles.
Would you guys say between the Switch, the PS4, and the Xbox One that the current gamer install base is almost capped?
No, not yet.
Nah, you saw at the $200 price point, man. And when the Switch drops to $250 and to $200, it's going to go even.
I mean, would you guys say that they're trying to fight for new customers, or would you guys say they're trying to fight for competition's customers?
And they're trying to fight to retain their customers.
I think they're just trying to hold their customers. Sony's like, okay, we know what our fan base is. We know it's bigger than Microsoft's, obviously. So we know.
I feel like the majority of the market share is up now. I feel like they're fighting.
Yeah. I think I feel like Xbox is just doing it because I feel like you understand, because people, degrade. Everybody wants to know what people don't understand how important the user base is, like active users and how much you can continue to sell to that base. Like, for example, like iPhone, I mean, it's only like, for example, the iPhone, it's only so many people that's going to keep are you really selling the new iPhone to new people, or are you selling it to the people that already been with iPhone?
Your existing clientele.
You want to. Right. I mean, at some point, it's like, it is what it is. But
it's like the company I work for now. I'm not allowed to say their name, but they're in an industry that the install base is already full. They're not fighting for new customers anymore. They're trying to steal their competition's customers.
I mean, iPhone still has a lot of customers they can steal, but they have the biggest market share as far as the cell phone are considered. Like, Samsung's nowhere near iPhone. So, and a lot of people will say, "Oh no, it is," but they're not. They're nowhere near iPhone. Well, so the whole thing is like,
I think Microsoft has an opportunity to grab customers from the other platforms, but they're gonna have to make moves.
They're gonna have to. They should have not. I think, and I agree with you. But that's where they should have said the Xbox One X is a new platform. It's all games are gonna be built on. They should have ditched it just like they did the original Xbox when they went to the 360 and had that year or two generation ahead of Sony. Because people forget like the PS2 was killing the GameCube and the Xbox, and Microsoft said we're not losing the next generation. They dropped their console a year ahead of Sony. They got all these deals in place. They had all these exclusive deals. Think about it. We had what was that Capcom game the guys running around in the snow with the robots?
Lost Planet.
Microsoft had so many third-party deals exclusive that were only in their console for so long that by the time the PS3, by the time the PS3 came out, even with their bad marketing, Microsoft was cleaning up. So I think that's the only way they really could come back is that they come out next generation the same day as the next PlayStation system. They're going to be in the same situation because their market base is not as big as Sony. They don't have as big and diverse a library as Sony's.
They could have won if they dropped the Xbox One and just said this X is the next generation.
Exactly.
Xbox,
that would have changed.
That would have changed everything. Yes, it would have. Well, you see, I just saw another article.
Shooting your gun too early, man. Like what
they did it with the 360. They did it with the 360. When the 360 came out, 5 years. It came out with 5 years after the original Xbox came out.
And you got 4 years compatibility. Who cares?
4 years. I'm sorry. And then the fact of the matter is, they said this is our new system. We're not leaving anybody behind, but we're still making.
I get that. Okay, but here's my counter to that. All right, what happened when the Xbox One and the PS4 came out? They still made cross-compact games with the 360 and the PS3. By the time that would go away and they'd be making X-only games, the PS5 would be out.
But that's the only way they're going to catch up. If you're talking about just catching up, that's the only way they're going to catch up.
Because everybody keeps basing on the thing like what the catch up is. The
only way that they're
we're talking about catch up as far as like gain the market where they're almost bouncing out. Yeah, right now the market share is so lopsided. Sony's destroying everything.
That's how Sony's getting these games.
Right.
So many sold.
But Sony's always had like the market
when it comes down to it, like the only
generations.
The only chance they have anything to even sell any kind of consoles that they would need to even remotely get to sell more to close the gap to that is they need to drop bomb game after bomb game.
Man, I don't think Microsoft is interested in closing the gap, or if that's even a possibility.
No, they want the market share.
They want the market share. They want to be.
They want to sell way more Xbox.
I'm not saying that. The thing is, you guys think about all right. Like our goal for the next 4 years is to chase Sony. That's not what it is. They probably know exactly what their cap is and what they're set to do. So I don't think the decisions that they're making and things they're going to do is to beat out PlayStation. I just don't think that. I just don't think they're in a room trying to figure out, whoa, this is what we can do to catch PlayStation. They know for a fact it's not possible. They're going to capitalize on what they have right now, and they're going to control what they can control.
Phil Spencer isn't really a competitive dude. I see that, but
he's not.
His superiors are.
We need Peter Moore back.
His superiors, they all about that. They might not want to, dethrone PlayStation this generation because they know that's unrealistic.
They can't. Right, they can't.
But they want some of that market share that they've lost to PlayStation.
Yeah, they want.
Look what happened to Windows Phone. They had no market share.
You want to know what Xbox care about more than console sales?
Xbox Live memberships.
No, game sales, software sales, Xbox. How many games you're buying from that Xbox store? That's what they care about.
But they're not making the.
But they're not making the exclusive games. They care more about.
It doesn't matter. It's like why do you think about it? GameStop wants you to buy games from their store versus Walmart.
No,
GameStop wants you to buy used games. They don't.
Every company
buy used games. But Microsoft makes money off of Xbox Live. That's what they're more interested in.
But they also make money off games being bought.
They license. They make money.
Right, I understand that, but I'm saying a lot of their money is made off of Xbox Live. You got to think about how many. They make a lot of money off of Xbox Live, so that's important to them.
That's important to them, but that's like. There's how many subscriptions? If I got a fucking user base about 55 million on like Xbox Live. I want to keep that on average. If I grow from that, great. But how many of those 55 million Xbox Live users can I get to buy the games?
I get what you're saying. They have a goal. Their goal not necessarily is beating the competition, But I'm talking about the overall. You know, they might have that goal, but I know for a fact that they have. You know, they might not. They secretly want to beat the competition. They might have.
They want to beat them at something, but at the
they're
end of the
not
day, every business know where they stand at, what they can do. It's about capitalizing on the
They
market share
couldn't
you
beat.
do have.
They couldn't beat Apple. They couldn't beat Google. So what they're doing is conceding and putting their own apps on those services. So I bet you we don't get the next Xbox. We get the app that goes on the PlayStation Store, and then they're gonna go that way and have an Xbox app on the PlayStation Store. That's what they want to do.
I don't
You can't
see
beat
that.
them. Join them. That's what they're gonna do.
Well,
Man.
that's the
They might
They
not
did
be,
it in their other platforms.
But
Yeah, that's
Windows.
the other platform. But you got to think
different.
about it, Jazz. See,
Xbox is Windows.
Yeah, Xbox is Windows, but you're looking at shit like, oh well, Microsoft Word needs to go because Microsoft Word is here or this platform. All the stuff Microsoft owns needs to be on multiple platforms in this day and age for stuff like that. Like, come on,
they want that money. When they make Microsoft Office, they want that on any kind of platform they can possibly get it on. Like,
but they didn't have it on it at first. They were trying to
not at first because they were beating all their like competition's ass. But at the end of the day, you can
on their own Windows tablets before iPad.
You're going to have to find a way to get your product in more people's hands. And when you got, so that's why it was such a big deal when Microsoft Word finally made its way to an Apple computer, which was long ago. This isn't nothing new.
I'm talking about the mobile strategy, the iPad. So they did not have it on iPad. They did not have it on Android. They had it on their Windows tablet.
They don't have a mobile strategy. Their mobile products are pretty much trash.
Well, Phil Spencer went on CNBC and talked about his mobile strategy.
I don't care what Phil Spencer said about his mobile.
All right,
strategy.
Don't care what Phil Spencer says, but the guy's the words come out of his mouth. He knows more than us.
Well, okay,
he knows what he's doing.
He's just talking PR. They haven't showed me at all that they're confident in their mobile teams. Like, have you guys had a Windows phone? Have you guys had a Windows phone?
Yes, I did. I had the 1520.
And it was trash.
No, it wasn't. It was an excellent piece of hardware. The App Store was trash.
So just because
the App Store.
Okay, hold on.
The App Store is like
they didn't get the developers. That's what happened.
But here's the thing. If the App Store is trash, the phone is trash. That's literally what you use the phone for is apps.
No, the hardware, the camera, the phone, the 1520 was a great phone. It was a solid phone. It just didn't get the developer support.
In my book, if the apps are trash, the hardware's trash. Look, it's the same thing we're talking right now with the Xbox. A lot of people think the apps, aka games on the Xbox, are trash, so they deem that the hardware trash. It's the same thing on
the
phones.
UI is pretty trash too.
No, the UI is not that great. I will say they have some good games. I just think it's like this. Will Microsoft at the end of this generation, will they outsell the 360 with the Xbox One? No, they're not going to. Will Sony? Hell yeah. They're going to outsell the PlayStation 3. Microsoft is not even, they're not going to equal, when the generation is over, there won't be as many Xbox Ones in houses as there were 360s, and that's the problem. So Microsoft,
they lost the overseas market.
Well, yeah, they never had the overseas market. They had
some of it.
Well, they had some of it, but the thing is,
Japan.
Nintendo and Sony, they own the Asian market, and Microsoft will never be able to break into that market. Like not in the way they want to. You know, yeah, they got some of Europe here and there, but you know, you just got to look at it like Sony is. Let's be real. When Nintendo screwed Sony over with the PlayStation, Sony dominated the market from the PlayStation 1 basically until now.
Let's be real here.
Let's just be real.
What? Nintendo dominated the Wii
market? I said Sony dominated the market for the most part for their 4 generations. Like their third console, the PS3, was like the worst selling one, but they pretty much dominated the market with the software content they had available. They had the most diverse library. They really did.
But
so it was like
came out a year earlier, and they had a global strategy.
Exactly.
And what's his name? Phil and Peter Moore knew.
Peter Moore,
Stega, so he kind of knew.
Yeah.
They talked in Japan. They said they needed to have 10 million consoles by the time PlayStation sold, and they had 11 million, I think, by the time the PlayStation.
The design of the Xbox 360 was inspired by the iPod. Like,
yes, and those small.
That's one of the reasons.
That's why I was saying.
That's one of the reasons that
jump on them.
That's one of the reasons the original Xbox I feel like sold worse in overseas because there's a lot of people.
Yeah, because the original Xbox was fucking bigger than some people's houses.
The original
in Japan.
Xbox looks horrible.
Oh my god, it
was a great. Hey, that thing lasted though. That thing was it was a tank.
Yeah, but kid, let's
mod that baby.
Kid, if you're not going to wrap this up anytime soon, I'm going to have to go off.
Yeah, no, I'm ready to wrap up. Shout out to all the people that came in so fucking late. Like,
BG just ended his stream.
Oh, that's what it was.
We're in overtime.
I see how y'all do it.
Like 160 or 70 people in there.
Yeah, now you got a whole bunch of people in there.
Yeah, everybody wants to hear that song again.
Someone actually said you needed to have that as your intro. I was like, no. Hold on. Before you end, I am curious. I'm gonna look at something real quick, and I don't want to tell you what I want to look at because you might in the stream before I can say it. But I'm curious what the like and dislike ratio is on that video. You got 165 likes and 131 dislikes.
On what? On
the Halo Gears of Forza.
I bet you the dislikes are Xbox guys.
Kid, for your protection, and because I don't want you on Suicide Watch, don't look at that comment section.
What do you mean? I've seen the comment section ever since the release.
I haven't looked at it.
Don't look at that comment section.
No, I've seen the comment section. Ain't nothing.
Don't really look at the comment section.
I've read every comment every day since I did it.
Okay, what did 3 OG say? What did 3 Minute Gamer say?
3 Minute Gamer say? He said, what the fuck did he say? I don't store the comments in my head. I read them. Nothing offends me.
I'm sure you can know what someone like 3 Minute Gamer said.
No. Unless I look at it again.
Just end this stream.
I'm just saying, it was like there's nothing that somebody could say in the chat about a parody song that I did that's gonna make me feel bad about myself. They can eat a dick and balls on the side.
Oh no!
There's nothing. I'm gonna say there's nothing nobody can say to me about.
I will say that the beat was kind of funny.
Like that's his art, man. That's his art.
Hey, it was just funny. When he came in, I was like, wait, what's he doing? Halo Gears of Forza. I was like, oh.
Made it so much better was what he did in his drunk stream with it.
He was recalling lines from there, going, "Nobody comes up with those rhymes." I was like, "What the?"
Oh man!
When I got on Twitter,
he says he wipes his shit on his PlayStation or something.
When I got on Twitter and I started seeing like people replacing the music with like Persona 5 and say
the funniest thing.
What's funny is like that Ep.25 thing that people be posting on Facebook and Twitter saying that you can jam to any song. You could literally do that with Kid Smooth's GIF right there. Like
exactly.
Like the Persona one matched perfectly.
The Persona one was perfect.
That was
perfect.
Oh man, you could use that for like when they announce the winners of the Game of the Year awards. Like just have them like jam into the announcements.
So out of curiosity, how bad do you think Kissman's gonna get it on Weapon Wheel?
I'm not gonna get shit on Weapon Wheel. Them niggas better be kissing my fucking feet. Like when people think every time I make a move, like I gotta make a move and I have to watch my back
rhymes,
from
man. He's quoting your words.
Heartache, like fucking roast or anything like that.
Look, they're obviously gonna say something about the Halo Gears and
this is the first.
Oh man,
this is the one time I was like, Heartache ain't missing Planet Xbox. There's no way after what Kid just did.
I thought he was gonna be here.
No. Heartache, like I said, Heartache, he did his thing. Whatever. No, I'll see them on nothing's gonna happen, even though a lot of people want to take me to Weapon Wheel Court for so much. It's like, what are you gonna take me there for? You know what I mean? What is there to take me here for? I am sitting here.
So is that your defense? Is that what your defense is going to be?
Yeah, my defense is I'm here doing God's work. However, I'm here providing fucking 24 hours entertainment. I'm just being me. I don't have to fucking script anything. I just do the shit. If I feel a certain way, I want to do something, I'm going to do it. That's the good thing about the internet. It's the good thing about YouTube. You don't have to pretend you can just go out and do it.
You got to make the radio and send it to Aaron Greenberg.
I got a thing to say, kid. You really need to do something with that chair. That's like the third time I've seen you fall out.
Yeah, this chair is fucked up. Like this chair is like completely fucked up. Like, but we've been in here a little bit too long, and I'm fucking hungry.
Definitely get something to eat.
Yeah.
It was a fun time though. I don't mind.
Nah,
I'm tired, but it was.
Hey, when we playing that NBA Live, because I did go out and pick it up.
Oh yeah, we can play tonight.
Okay, definitely, most definitely. Well, I got on the PS4. Just to let you know.
Right after I wipe my ass and wipe it on my PlayStation.
Just don't get it in the fan.
Hey, you said you had it on both consoles, so I was like, well, I'll just go get it and just try it out.
Yeah, cool. But you guys, have a good night. Thank you guys for tuning in for episode 26 of Playing Xbox. We'll see you guys next week. We may do a live stream reaction to the award show tomorrow. And make sure you download and hit that like button on that planet. Like this podcast and then like that Halo, Gears, and Forza because you like it. And
you know what's funny? People literally went to that just to dislike it.
Yeah, and they really like it. A lot of people that dislike it really like it. They mad. They're disliking it because they can't get it.
Internet.
They can't get it out their head. It keeps repeating in their head.
I really think you should play it on this podcast.
Oh, all right, hold on. Let me.
Oh my god!
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Once I heard it, it was hard to get out of my head.
Face cam on. Kid,
all right,
gotta put your face cam on.
All right, let's do it. We're gonna play
it. Run an E3 for the best lineup ever.
I'm gonna pull it up on the SoundCloud.
Oh my god!
I don't want to give myself a free YouTube view. People like, oh, he botting. All right, but we're gonna do the SoundCloud.
Why can't just call you Meek Mills?
All right, be quiet, guys. You guys gotta
best spot.
Tell me if it's too loud.
If you
hear it,
yeah.
Look at him smiling and cheesing, man.
I got my Halo Gears and Forza.
Yo, make me move, girl.
Halo Gears and Forza.
Oh, he's dancing again.
If you can't take the, y'all niggas know y'all like this shit.
Got my Halo Gears and Forza. Halo Gears.
No, this shit makes me so happy, bro. And I didn't even like the little Yachty song. I'm on my Halo Gears and Forza.
It actually has like a holiday.
Texas make you bullshit. Looking super crisp.
Mix moves. Black Bob.
Wipe my ass with my hands and wipe it on that PlayStation.
I'm surprised no one's put one on Twitter and have a video of them wiping their ass on a PlayStation.
Oh,
I guess I with dirt on a PlayStation.
Xbox is for the pros. Xbox we play games.
PlayStation, y'all list games. We got them big names.
You can have your knack
In your GT Sport,
you can have your near.
in your PS3 ports,
But over here, our games are
clear.
I've sung this song like 1,000 times.
That shit was lit, bro. That shit was lit. Love that song, bro.
Black Bond said, "Turn yourself in." He said,
Turn yourself in.
He said, "You've been summoned."
Ah,
I think
my bad, guys.
I think
All right, good night. I'm ready to go.
I think Raven's gonna jump out the window, man.
Oh my gosh!
All right, I'm out of here though.
Oh man.